Mohit Joshi, CEO of Havas Media Network India, a leading media agency in our country. And under his leadership, Havas Media Network India has evolved into an integrated powerhouse, aligning media, digital, data, technology, and content. And yes, under one cohesive strategic vision. So can you invite Mr. Mohit Joshi onto the stage, affectionately known as Mojo, known for his Mojo selfies. Thank you. And also another stalwart joining this session. His multi-sector experience from FMCG to e-commerce to telecom broadcast gives him a broad view of consumer behavior, media trends, and what works where. He's known for pushing strategic, measured, and creative use of media and not just run-of-the-mill campaigns. Put your hands together for Jaikishan Chapru, Head Media and Brand PR, ITC. Ladies and gentlemen, with a nice big round of applause, come on.
Hi Arnab, can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. What time is it in London? We are missing you here.
I'm in Oxford. It's 10:15 in the morning.
Okay. So me and Jaikishan are here and we'll be asking you some questions. And, who doesn't know Arnab? So can we have a big round of applause for Arnab, please?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I don't know whether you can see, but
thank you.
There's a house full that is clapping for you and they would have wanted you to be here, but I'm sure they will enjoy this session with you virtually as well. So let me start, Arnab, by asking you, you know what many of us don't know about what's happening and what is not happening. The phrase India shining has been around for a decade and more. In today's India, with technology, startups, and regional growth shaping the entire story, how real is this narrative? And you have to be honest. You are always honest.
Yeah. Thank you, Mohit, and thank you, Jaikishan, and thank you very, very much to my dear friend Shankar for organizing this magnificent South India Media Summit. At the start, I would like to say that I am very proud of my association with Fourth Dimension Media and with Shankar. And the way he puts the industry together, the way he's put all of you in one room is truly commendable. So I think we should have a round of applause for this fantastic man. And we're very proud of our association with Shankar. Thank you, Shankar. And thank you for calling me here today. So, India Shining, was a slogan given in 2003-2004. Coined largely by Pramod Mahajan before the 2004 elections, which ended up being a bit of a flop show for the BJP in 2004. So now every time the opposition also says that they said India shining then, but the results were not shining for them. So when you talk about India shining, there's always a political angle to this. That, the government's trying to give a picture of India shining, but on the ground, things are not India shining. On the ground, things have not changed. On the ground, people are unhappy. And before every election in our country, there is a group of people who call themselves the limousine liberals. Some people from the media who have never gone outside Greater Kailash in Delhi. And before every election, they get onto their chartered planes, they travel around and they say, oh, we've seen the heat and dust of the country and things are not so good. This time, I think BJP will lose. This time, I think Rahul Baba will come as Prime Minister. So there's a context to that question. Now, if I compare, Mohit, it is not 10 years. It's actually therefore 21 years since that slogan of India Shining came. But things are vastly different today. In 2004, on the basis of very little achievement, there was a very big marketing claim that had been made by Pramod Mahajan. And he thought the country will get carried away with it. And unfortunately, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee gave him the freedom, do what you want kind of thing. And the BJP did not do well. The situation here is very different now. In 2004, yes, you had good growth. So that time also the argument is made, there was good growth then, but the BJP was voted out. There is good growth now, but it's not seeping onto the ground. The difference is in 2004, we had growth of about 6.7, 6.8%. A little marginally different from what it is now. But our inflation was technically 8.2%. practically, if you would ask people in 2004, it was almost in double digits of 10%. In this period, now we see the 2014 to 2024 period, I'm not talking of the present, the growth is 6.7, 6.8%. But the inflation is 5%, sometimes under 5%. So you cannot compare 2004 to 2025. I would say things are much better in Modi's India than it was in Vajpayee's India, in terms of for the people. Because Narendra Modi has done a lot of things which previous governments did not. You have a stable economic growth. You have GST. You have GST rationalization. You have demonetization. You have UPI. But most importantly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi understood on day one that the biggest problem in our country is we have a lot of money, it doesn't reach the people. So he did direct benefit transfer. So I feel there was an element of social reformation in what Narendra Modi was doing, and therefore I think he kept his focus on the domestic economy. It's not only a marketing focused campaign, and if you were to tell me therefore shining then compared to India shining now, I would say it's too much to say India shining, but India is far better in 2025 than it was in 2024, which is the reason why when people say, oh, will what happened in Nepal happen in India? Will what happened in Bangladesh happen in India? Absolutely not. Some political parties will want that to happen in our country. But that deep level of personal dissatisfaction which exists in some of our neighbors is not there in India today. So I hope that's a broad answer to your specific question.
Absolutely,
I hope I didn't
perfect.
stray, Mohit.
Hi, Arnab.
Hi, sir. Jai Kishan, how are you?
Hi. Okay, so while you did touch upon some of these trends, but I'm saying from the macro economic trends like the digital adaptation, infrastructure expansion, or the regional industrial growth, do you see which one of these do you see as the most critical for India over the next decade?
See, you have mentioned three things. I think your first was digital adoption. Your second was industrial growth. And what was your third?
Regional industrial growth and infrastructure expansion.
Regional industrial growth. See, the second and third are not the drivers of our growth. They are the necessary physical infrastructure we are building for a country which has been far behind for 30 years. I would like to focus on the first. You know, I think, Jai Kishan, what is happening in our country, and this forum is a very good place to discuss that. We're getting too excited about digital access. Digital access, in my view, is not digital growth. We are comparing ourselves. We are saying, oh, we are 1/5 of the national income by 2030 will come from digital. We are getting digital access. I think we are getting too consumed and too happy saying we are getting digital access in banking. We're getting digital access in retail. We're getting digital access post-COVID in education. You know, we are trying user experience for people who are consuming digital. And you are in the south of India where, the south is far more advanced in terms of digitalization, if that were to be an appropriate word, because you already have a startup ecosystem which is there. And the number of internet users in states like Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka are very high. Kerala is already the most transformed and most advanced digital economy. I think it's got a special status there. My problem, Jai Kishan, is digital access is not digital growth. You go around the world today. Do we want to be a market or do we want to be creators? I think Piyush Goyal said it absolutely right. We are using the roadways of the digital economy to make consumers get access to products. But are we here to start a food delivery ecosystem? Or are we here to do something more transformative? Therefore, I would say that too much excitement about digital access, proving that we are doing very well, is not good. Getting too excited that UPI is available to everyone, that even 50 paisa transactions are happening on UPI, what does it prove? It proves that when you give access, people use it. But is it transforming our nation? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And there's too much hype over the fact that there is digital adoption. Digital adoption is happening because people have access to cheap bandwidth. What happens on the day when these same companies which are providing the bandwidth increase their ER by 20%, 30%? Will consumer habits change then? Or are we going to be in a lockdown economy? Therefore, My simple answer to your question is, out of your three, neither. The only thing, neither digital adoption, nor building roads, or simply saying that we are going to build a bit of regional infrastructure is going to be a game changer for the country. We are not in the 90s. Therefore, what do we need to do? I'll give one example. A few days back, in our studio, two young men came to me and they said, we have built a EV powered motorcycle and they've got very limited investment. You know, they would have probably got $50-60 million over years, over 8-9 year period at the most. Now I challenge you or anyone there, let Elon Musk build the quality of the bike that these young men have made just 20 kilometers out of Bengaluru. I asked them, where is your factory? How many people do you employ? They said, we employ 600 people. Our factory is maybe just on the suburbs of Bengaluru. And I said, where is your bike being used? They said, on the Autobahn, in Paris, in Germany. I said, can I have a look at this bike that you made? And believe me, the bike is an absolute beauty. You could imagine that bike giving a race to BMW or Kawasaki or any of those companies. So that is what makes me excited. What makes me excited is creating something new. Manufacturing is what is going to make a difference to this country. Not only digital adoption, not only building highways, it's manufacturing. We have to get back to our core of manufacturing. And I believe it is the south of India which should lead the way as far as manufacturing is concerned. So I would say out of your three, I would choose neither. I would say manufacturing motorcycles, manufacturing hardware, manufacturing chips, manufacturing the latest sort of defense technology. What companies like Indian companies in defense are doing is truly transformative. So I would say if we put our core on manufacturing, that's going to be the next phase of our growth.
Arnab, coming to South India now, since we are sitting in the south of India in Tamil Nadu, and we know that southern states like Tamil Nadu are often referred to as the growth engines of India. But do you think that the South's contribution in India's rise gets the attention it deserves in national narratives?
Mohit, first you should ask BARC, whether BARC is giving even a representation to south of India. I'll come straight, I'm a media person, Mohit. There is so much when I come to South, when I come to Chennai, I was recent in Mamalapuram, then when I go to Bengaluru, I know how many people watch television here, right? But you know, when you ask BARC, they seem to be in a different world altogether. They would show that one particular city in the heart of the country or some other part of the country where one channel has got landing pages is going to contribute. So before we talk about the rest of the other industries, let's talk about our own media industry. In our media industry, is the south of India, are all the people who are in the room, are all the entrepreneurs, media entrepreneurs in the room who are in this media summit, why don't they ask BARC, why don't they ask Nakul, how much representation are you giving us? Right? So I would say the greatest, I'm sorry to stray away from your subject, but I'm a news person. I have also come with an agenda today, Mohit, to this event. You know, I hope you don't mind my straying on it. I am asking everyone in this room, how long? How long will inaccuracies continue to be tolerated by our industry? How long will misrepresentation continue to happen? How long will data be sullied, be vilified by people who have a monopoly over it? How long will conflict of interest be allowed to operate in the name of a rating system? Before we talk about other things, I truly feel very sad, very, very, very sad. You know, I was told that we should be very happy with the number of people watching news during Operation Sindoor. And they said, okay, you should be very happy because you've gone up by 30-40%. I said, do you really think that 85 to 90% of the people in this country are watching Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi during Operation Sindoor? I would say, of course, there is a question of regional disparities that we must address here. But the big question that we must begin to ask is, what about the disparities that exist within our own industry? And it's not only North versus South, East versus West, it's overall. So many people watch television, so many people consume media. But how is it represented to the advertiser? How is it represented to to the media buyer? How does it work for the people running channels like you and me? So this is just a thought. I'm sorry I strayed away from your question,
Point
but it's
taken,
at the core of my
absolutely.
heart wherever I go today. I said, this is not done. How long will we accept it? I mean, it's like saying today that we don't want to accept the reality that something is wrong, has to be corrected. Can I tell you one thing, Mohit? I'll give you a stark example. You go and ask BARC and the BARC board that does your NCCS data, sorry I'm straying, but I'm giving you a headline. Does your NCCS data represent the reality of this country? And is it true that you have an alternate data called ISEC, which is very much there with the people? I'm a journalist, I get the inside story. BARC has access to a far more evolved system, which is supported, I think, by the Indian Society of Advertisers, they can tell you, which is already there, which is ready, which should be implemented. But BARC is not implementing it. I don't know why. Maybe BARC thinks that if they implement it, then 85% of the people will not be watching Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. And this is a very serious question. The new ISEC system, I'm straying from the subject, but it's very important. My inside information, and I challenge BARC on this, there's that ISEC system, which is far more effective as a socio-economic classification, does not do wrong things. Now, what are wrong things? If you say today that in today's India, we should underplay the number of graduate women who are highly educated or at least moderately educated, how well are they represented in the BARC sample? My information, it is not well represented, which is why when educated women would be watching news more, would be watching something more in the area of infotainment, you underplay that deliberately. You deliberately underplay that so that it gives an appearance that the old data is serving the interests of India 15 years back. According to the ISEC data, the highest educated female in a family is part of the classification. Now I'm asking you, Mohit, we all say, you know, there should be no gender discrimination. There should be no gender discrimination in this country, we say. But is the NCCS data being shown by BARC discriminative on the basis of gender? Does it include the highest educated female adult member of the family in its classification? Actually, the reality is ISEC does, NCCS does not. And I'm asking, in a country of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, give women an opportunity to be educated so that they don't get included in the NCCS classification. Is that fair? Is that fair in our country today? That we should discriminate against the highest educated female adult member of a house? That we should not take into consideration the education of the chief earner of the house? The education of the highest educated adult member of the house? This classification is available. It is time our industry has a conversation on it. Why is BARC stalling ISEC? Why is it stopping ISEC from being implemented? Why should media buyers like you, Mohit, advertisers like Jay Kishan, not ask the question to BARC? Why don't you put out the reality of the sample? Why don't you put the reality of the country in the sample? And I'll tell you why. The reality is because if ISEC is implemented, it will not work for the general entertainment channels, which are controlling BARC today. The general entertainment channels are controlling BARC, we all know it. The moment you implement ISEC, it will not, because then ITC will advertise on a news channel, not a GEC. And Jay Kishan knows that. It's a reality. These are the harsh truths. And I am saying this is not right. South of India must be represented more. There must be regional representation. This South India Media Summit must dedicate itself to equality and fairness in the rating system, and towards a system where you cannot allow a few people to play around with a sample or to put landing pages and then claim to be number one in every respective state. Heart of heart, all of us are here to win. But we want to win fairly, Mohit. And I am pretty sure that if you put a vote on what I have said today, people will say Arnab is vocal, but they'll also say Arnab is right. He is not saying the wrong thing. Otherwise, create an alternative Create an alternative measurement system. The government is trying to say we'll create an alternative measurement system. I would say to the government, create an alternative measurement system where the highest educated female member of the household does not get shafted as far as measurement is concerned. And I think everybody in this house will support me on this. This is my mission. We must bring equitable representation. Of course, I have strayed majorly from your question, Mohit, but I'm sure that maybe at some level you will understand the pain that people like me, entrepreneurs like me feel, and everybody who is in the audience, including people, the stalwarts of the south of the country. Every stalwart in the south of the country would know today that it is not fair. You know, one of the best and amazing things about the south is are at the forefront of businesses, of change. Some of the greatest achievements are made by women. When we see a rocket go up, when we see a missile go up, what do we say? What do we say? We say that we feel so proud that this very, very unassuming but highly educated lady in a sari has been the creator behind the biggest missiles and rockets of the country. But the reality is, and I would ask this, that would the same lady get counted in the sample that is being put out for measurement? And if that unfairness stays, I think all of us should protest about it.
Thanks, Arnab. I completely understand where you're coming from, and we'll discuss this separately. But point taken, and
no, I like to raise some uncomfortable issues wherever I go.
Can we give him a big round of applause for that?
You know what happened, Mohit? I was in the early years of my career when I started doing well.
Yes.
They started calling me to journalism schools. And then every school of journalism I went, like I called me to ACJ in Chennai, I said I have only one thing to say, never go to a journalism school. So, I end up spoiling the atmosphere, but I have to speak my mind, Mohit, because these are harsh realities. I want to share this with all of you because, we are all in the same business. Actually, it's not a business, it's a passion for me.
Sure.
Okay, and moving the narrative from India to the bit of West, given the global political shift from Trump in the US to rising nationalism worldwide, which are reshaping narratives, from an Indian perspective, do you think that the Indian media is insulated from these swings or they're influenced by them?
See, India is the leader, Ajay Kishan, in this. It is only now these woke people have started saying, oh, nationalism, too much nationalism, hyper-nationalism. I'm speaking to you, Ajay Kishan, and I was watching the channels here. BBC is in a sense of disbelief that a party called Reform is possibly going to win the next election. It's not Tory, it's not Conservative, it's not Labour. It's the person they hate the most, Nigel Farage and Reform, who were supported by Elon Musk, who are likely to win the next election. BBC can't believe it's happened. There's a channel called GBTV. But the fact is, what is the reality? Is a reality. We'll have to accept the reality. And on this question which you've asked, Jai Kishan, of nationalism, what is nationalism? Nationalism is devotion to your country. Nationalism is loyalty to your country. Should I not be devoted to my country? Should I not be loyal to my country? And should I not use, for example, if you raise the question in the context of journalism, should I not be a cultural nationalist? Should I not be a civic nationalist? Should I not believe in Bharatiyata? Should I not believe in a shared approach to law, society, institutions? Or should I become like a politician who says, I don't believe in any institution? So therefore, I believe that cultural nationalism, the nationalism which brings together culture, tradition, and history is important. I don't think we can compare Indian nationalism to the stupidity that Donald Trump is doing. That's the mistake we make. We pick up some people, Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, and we say, oh, but we are moving in the same direction. We are not. We are not. Was Mahatma Gandhi not a nationalist when he was a journalist as well? Was the civil disobedience movement of 1942 not a nationalist movement, or was it an anti-national movement? Was 1857, our war of independence, was it not a nationalist movement? Did we need Trump or Nigel Farage or Boris Johnson or Elon Musk to teach us nationalism? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now let me tell you, if we had been more nationalist earlier in our history, we would have been a better country. And let me give you an example. 1905 to 1919, there were three people, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal. They were so amazing, along with people like Bhagat Singh and all. They were so amazing. Had it not been for the slowdown that the passive resistance of Mahatma Gandhi brought, I can tell you we would have been independent before 1930. We slowed down because Gandhi's practices were passive, were non-violent. But by 1942, even Mahatma Gandhi realized that this is not going to work. So he did the civil disobedience movement. But by that time, it was too late. Jinnah was on the horizon. The British had divided the country on religious lines. My question to the audience is that if Lal, Bal, Pal had continued, 1905, 1919, not stopped, and there had been no passive resistance, then our country would be independent earlier. The British would have been forced to flee. Now, why am I talking about history today? It is because I believe, Jai Kishan, that the biggest challenge in our country is about to come. We are taking the sovereignty, the territorial integrity of our diverse nation for granted. There are a lot of people, and we just saw what happened in Ladakh. There are a lot of people working against our national interest. And we cannot, as the media, insulate ourselves and say, oh, that's happening, humko, we should not talk about this, we should only talk about business, we should only talk about ER and TRPs and all. No, we have a responsibility towards keeping our country together. Our country is under tremendous challenge. If you feel that what happened in Ladakh will not happen anywhere else in the country, we are wrong. It could happen anywhere. You believe that Manipur happened on its own? It did not happen on its own. Why was the Western media in Churachandpur, in Manipur, even before the violence reached? This is a question people are not asking. How did the Western media get to know that there is going to be violence in Manipur? How did the Western media know what is going to happen in Ladakh? Which means there are things happening at this juncture of our country's history. And at the South India Media Forum, I want our people everywhere there to ask themselves that can the media be away from the reality of this country? We are not only in the business of selling soap, we are in the business of keeping our country together. That's what we do every day at the Republic Media Network. You know, it's not, we brought these things down to very trivial conversations. We talk about, are you pro-Modi, are you anti-Modi, pro-BJP, anti-BJP? That's not the question. The question is, are you a nationalist? And if you're a nationalist, then you can use the media to put your country in the right direction. I am very surprised today that there are people who say we must respect Turkish nationalism, we must respect Rohingyas, we must respect American nationalism, but we must question Indian nationalism. So I feel that's a hypocrisy. We in the media must bring our country together. I can go into this subject for a long time, but I would say that our independence movement was inspired by journalism that was nationalistic. If it worked for us in 1940, why should it not work for us in 2025? Is my question to the audience. And therefore, I want to say today from the South India Media Forum that the Republic Media Network, which is the largest emerging media network in the country, is throwing its arms open to any partners who want to work. We have entered the South through Karnataka with a proud association when we took over Digvijay TV, which was being run by my friend Anand Sankeshwar, the son of the great Vijay Sankeshwar, a legend himself, and we entered the South. I would like to say, and may call it an announcement or whatever, that I would like to partner with any fellow broadcasters who would like to be part of our network. We can bring ways in which we can come together to put together a network that is truly nationalistic. My network does not say news first, Rashtra Sarvopari, nation first, and that is our guiding principle. So if anyone here wants to get together and be part of the Republic Media Network ecosystem, my email address is arnab@republicworld.com, arnab@republicworld.com. You connect with me, we will make you part of our ecosystem and build the largest media network in this country that is proudly nationalist.
Thank you, Arnab. And having spoken about Republic, you've built one of the most disruptive newsrooms in the country. And I've been fortunate to visit it with my leadership, global leadership. Thanks for that. What lessons does your journey hold for regional voices who want to break through nationally?
Well, there are far many achievers in the room for me to give examples, but Mohit, yes, it was lovely to have you and the leadership of your wonderful company in our newsroom. And as you would remember, when we were going around the newsroom with your global founder and CEO, Yannick, you know, the proud moment for me was when, you remember, he was in our newsroom, he looked around and he says, this is something that the world should see. When he came to our newsroom, and he said, this can give a run to the money to BBC, CNN, any global newsroom. And that came from a person who runs AFP, who runs, you know, one of the largest, maybe one of the top 3 or 4 media conglomerates in the world. So I think that was a very humbling moment for me. My only suggestion to any media entrepreneur who would get a chance to watch this or is perhaps in the room today is that you think big, think scale, think scale, think scale, think big, think big, think bigger, think biggest. Don't be pulled down by 2 factors. One is geography. Oh, I'm operating Tamil Nadu, I can't go national. Why not? If I am operating and I can think of going global, what is stopping anyone? Don't be held back by geography. Build media companies, build media buying companies, build media broadcasting companies, build digital companies that can go beyond geography. Don't be guided by geography. Let geography not be your limitation. I take inspiration from our dear friend Shankar today, who goes around the country. He is carrying out the South India Media Forum, but wherever he goes, people meet him and everyone knows him, from Assam to Delhi to South, of course. And that itself, so don't be guided, pulled down by geography. The second thing may be strange to you. But Mohit, I'll tell you, don't let money pull you down. Sometimes we feel we don't have capital. Because we don't have capital, Mohit, we can't do. We can't do because others have more money, we don't have money. We don't have money. And I think the biggest capital in the media space is in your brain. Why is Republic today so successful when we have people, biggest corporate houses entering this media industry? Why is Republic standing stall? Do we have more money? No. I also want to tell you one thing. People thought I had a lot of money when I started my channel. I had no money. Mohit, probably I did not even have more than 15 crore rupees. I'm telling you this today. From that money and from a 400 square feet room in Mumbai, we have built Republic Media Network. Only 2 things I'd say. If you have an idea, your idea is worth billions. It's not, you can put billions, but not, yeah, but you can have an idea that is worth more than the billions. And the second thing I would say is that do not be held back by your geography. And it becomes incumbent upon us to fight monopolies in the media space. Monopolies are not good. It is only when people who are in the room today and those watching this feel inspired and say we can do something really big from where we are. We don't have to change our geography. We don't have to go to another place. And that's when things will really change. So this is the only 2 things that I would say to them. The third thing I would tell them from my experience building the Republic Media Network is that the brand is built by trust and not by capital. Today, in the news industry, some channels, some networks are saying we will spend 150, 200 crore rupees to become #1 by getting a landing page. But when they go to an advertiser, the advertiser says, I don't believe this is a true viewership. So trust cannot be replaced with money. These are the driving forces for me. And I think if this is of any use, if it has made any sense to anyone, again, I would like to say once more, Mohit, that I would like to collaborate with you, with others. And therefore, I gave my email address not to advertise, but I want to get to know people. Otherwise, I'll be in my own bubble. So you want to reach out to me if you feel my ideas made sense to you. If you want to talk to me, you can always send me a mail. I'd love to connect.
Thanks, Arnab. Thanks.
Thanks, Arnab. See, you actually touched upon innovation in some manner out here. Given the fact that innovation is powering India's rise, but also it brings its own set of challenges. How do you think India should balance itself, on the innovation and regulation, especially in the digital and media space?
You're making me look like a guru. I'm not. I'm a very ordinary man. You're just a journalist, you know.
You
And
did actually
I
touch
run a
upon
media
some of
organization.
the disruptive things that you did when you launched Republic and the kind of things. So I was just kind of, this was probably a logical question to kind of follow that.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. Let me start with a joke first. It's not a joke, it's a real story. And the story is this, that, you know, Uddhav Thackeray had problems with me and I had to leave Mumbai. And everybody thought, you know, he's finished. We put him in jail, he's over, he's history. And all my competitors were so happy. They were very happy when they saw me go into jail. They were not happy when they saw me come out, because I came out like a tiger. The question is that in life, Jai Kishan, it's not always that I have learned what you do, which is your innovation. For me, it is what I don't do, which is also my innovation. And I'll say something very controversial. I will never take money from the Chinese to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party and put it in the front page of my newspaper and then give lectures on editorial independence. Since this is a South India Media Forum and you've called me, obviously, you must be thinking, what is Arnab talking about? I wanted to answer on technological innovation. He's talking about something else. In life, Jai Kishan, I'd say what you don't do defines you. I will be proud of Enram and the Hindu group if they say, no, it is because we love the Chinese Communist Party. It is out of our love for Lenin that we did that in the Hindu. We gave the front page of the Chinese Communist Party, out of our love for Mao, out of our love for Lenin, out of our ideological proclivity to the leftists, because we did it out of our love. If they did that, then I would say, Mr. Enram, Hindu group, I respect you. But you must tell me, did you do it for money or for ideology? This question will only come from Arnab, because the other journalists don't have the guts to ask this question. I would not give the 9 p.m. show of my channel to the Chinese Communist Party, even if they gave me $1 trillion for it. Because it is my respect. My innovation is my love for my country and my pride for my brand. So in life, it's not only what you do, don't do. If you are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party, if you're doing it out of love, out of admiration for the ideology, I have nothing but admiration for you. But if you're doing it for money, then I have nothing but contempt for you. Contempt for you. And I want to ask today, how many newspapers in this country sold out to the Chinese Communist Party and then give lectures to Republic and Arnab Goswami about freedom of press being in danger? The same people who say the freedom of the media are in danger are absolute hypocrites when it comes to taking money from others. So this is a question I have. Everybody has a right to do advertorials. This is my personal opinion, but I will never sell out to anyone. I will never take money from a lottery company that is being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate and consider that to be a golden opportunity to make money through advertising from a company that has spoiled the lives of millions of people. I was once asked a question by Subrata Roy Sahara. If you guys have the opportunity, please watch this series on Netflix. It's called Big Bad Billionaires. Big Bad Billionaires or something like that. And there is a lot of my interview with Subrata Roy Sahara, which is there. And I remember meeting Mr. Subrata Roy Sahara in the Sahara Hotel when many media companies were just taking money from him. Because the more problem you are in, the more the media इससे पैसा और ले लो, take money from him. It's like blackmail. I don't do blackmail. But Mr. Sahara said, what is your problem? I said, I have no problem with you, Mr. Sahara, but I know that all these riches, all this life, all these private planes, all these jets and all these hotels are being built upon the blood of millions of Indians. And he did not have an answer to that. You can see a clip of that interview. So I've never compromised. I'm happy to say today, Jai Kishan, that probably nobody knows Mr. Vijay Mallya better than me. But when it came to the story, he liked me. Wherever he would see a social occasion, he would make me sit next to him. But I went after him when it came to the scam. So I think my innovation is in deciding that I want to be authentic. Whatever I am, I am. If I am going to lose by being authentic, I'd rather lose being authentic than win by being a fake. So I think my innovation is in honesty. And that honesty needs to come back into the media. And I request everyone at the South India Media Summit, we can make a real difference to our country. We can pull our country together if we play our role. I'm not a technological person. Many people can talk about innovation and technology. My innovation is only in editorial, Jaikishan. That's all I know.
Thanks, Arnab.
Arnab, looking ahead, do you believe the next round of disruptive journalism will come from the regional India rather than the metros, or the other way around?
Absolutely it will. Absolutely it will. Absolutely it will. It gives me so much pride when I see what the regional media is doing. And I feel so bad, Mohit, that despite, when you come to a place like Tamil Nadu, when you come to Bangalore, when you come to where I'm from, Mohit, Guwahati, 11, 12 channels. People say, why so many channels? I said, what's your problem? Let there be more channels. Which means somebody is watching the news. Somebody is watching the news. Politicians' own channels. There are many channels we are not being owned by. The next disruption will come from the regional media. And that is why I want to join hands with the regional media. See, I'm one man. I've built a company. Company has grown big. People like you like me, so I'm fine. All right? But I'm not Ambani, Adani. I can't build the biggest media company on my own. But I want to work with all my partners in the regional media. I'm the only guy who will open my arms to them and not compete with them. I will not be there to crush you in your states. I'll be there to partner you. Therefore, I think the only way is to build what I would call a truly federal model of doing news in our country. And I would love to work with 15, 20 partners, not affiliates. You know what happens with these big companies when they join hands with somebody in Chhattisgarh? They are affiliate. You are their affiliate. How do you say they are your affiliate? I would like to build partners and work with them in serious journalism, because many people get pushed down and bogged down by money, by their inability to access sales beyond their regions, their inability to build sales teams. Not everybody can afford to build a sales team, and their over-dependence on state government advertising. I want to break away from all of that, and I think there is a model there. Our Republic Bangla channel does not get 1 rupee from the Bengal government. And I was told when I went to Bengal, I met somebody, very, very, very powerful person. This fellow sits with me in a room and says, what do you want? You've come to Kolkata. What do you want? I said, I want nothing. No channel operates here without our money. No channel operates here without our money. It was said to me by this very powerful person. And another powerful person to meet him is sitting here. And I said, I don't want a single rupee from you. He said, then you can't survive. And today, Republic Bangla is almost bigger than ABP, Anand Bazar Patrika. We haven't taken a rupee from the state government. I want to stop this dependent on state government advertising. If they want to advertise, good. Don't give advertising in the hope that you will control us. The problem is sometimes these people think like that. You will give us advertising, we'll control you. We should not sell out for 10 to 20. Journalism is worth more than that. So if there's anyone who believes in the same values as I do, please message me, call me, tell Mojo to give my phone number to you so that we can join hands and work together.
Sure, sir, sure.
Arnab, last question from my end. And in one line, what would be the headline to the world that you would want about India to be read in 2030?
2030. I'll only look at things through my prism, Jaikishan, thoda sa. We are not politicians. The Prime Minister has his own aspirations, Defense Minister, a National Security Advisor. Everybody, big people have big aspirations on their own right and their realm, and they have a right to do that. As a media person, I would say one thing for sure, Jaikishan, and I will say it because I believe, Jaikishan, I will do it. And with all your support and help, I will do it not for myself, but for all of us. And by 2030, let's say that today is 2025, we are on the 29th of September 2025. On the 29th of September 2030, when you and I are speaking together, maybe next time physically at an event like this, you should say, Arnab, remember you said that you will build one of the largest global media groups, and you did it. So what I want to do is absolutely clear. And I've been saying this since 2015 actually. Maybe you saw the video where I said in Moscow, people thought I was mad, but I will do it. We will build. I will not build. We, all of us together will build the most formidable challenge to BBC and CNN that they have not seen since the day where they were founded. We will defeat them. We will defeat BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, and strength of our people. We will build a proudly global network from India, and Republic Media Network will do it. Many have tried to do it. There are others also who are trying in their own way, small way, like First Post and WeOn and all these people. But you see, globally, if you have to do something, it has to be from the mind, not through money. And therefore, what headline I would like to see is that when the big headline happens in the world, people across the world are watching it on Republic, not BBC. I'll give you an example. I'm an executor. I'm not a thinker. I'm not a great thinker, but I'm good at putting things together. The practical side of it. You know, recently Putin and Trump met in Alaska. I don't know why they met in Alaska. They could have met in a better place. But they met in Alaska. And when that event was being streamed, I will share data with you. Republic streaming was higher than Al Jazeera, though we don't have a global channel, because we did better quality work. So if we can defeat Al Jazeera, yes, we were behind BBC, we were behind CNN, but just imagine if we take 5 to 10% of the global audience, what an impact that will be. Will it not make all of you proud? And therefore I'm saying I'm not going to do it for myself. I'm not going to do this for myself. I'm not taking Republic public and making hundreds of crores. I have nothing, no financial aspiration. I want to do it because India needs it. So that is what I want to see, that when the big global headline happens, people where I'm sitting right now, I'm sitting in Oxford, people in Cambridge, people in Washington should be following RIP. That's what I want. Not for myself, because that is a network that will come from India, rooted in Bharatiyata. So that is what I want.
Wow. So can we give a big round of applause to Arnab? Thank you, Arnab.
Thank you.
It was absolutely fabulous as always, and wish you were here, but I think we got the flavor of your your passion from there as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Arnab.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Jai Kishan. Thank you, everyone, and fantastic to South India Media event which you're having there. It's great. Next time I'll be with you physically for sure. Thank you very much. And you have my email address. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to be requesting a representative from Republic Media Network. Before that, to present the memento, may I please invite Ms. Jayanti, COO from A1 Positive Advertising Solutions, to please join us on stage. And we will be honoring Mr. Subbiah, Chief Manager of Republic Media Network, Tamil Nadu. Thank you, Republic TV. You've been a huge pillar of support for the South India Media Summit 2025. We look forward to continued collaboration with you. One thing Coimbatore is very, very famous for is startups and, of course, the spirit of entrepreneurship, and keeping that in mind, we would like to celebrate someone truly special who has also been a huge pillar of support for South India Media Summit 2025 in bringing the next generation to this summit. And to felicitate him, I invite Mr. Bharat Vishwanathan, COO from Fourth Dimension Media Solutions, to please join us on stage. And Naveen, can I please have you on stage from Startup Payanam? Ladies and gentlemen, I know all of you know the kind of work that they do, and the kind of support that they have given South India Media Summit 2025. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been enjoying the sessions. Let me read the energy in the room. Over to you, Jackson sir.
My only request to my panelists out here is please keep your answers short and not really long, like the previous one. So Rohan and Ram Sahib, one question to you is, with the shift of spends now favoring digital more, how are agencies gearing internally from the TV dominant mindset to integrated planning and buying?
All right, if I may go, I think one of the core philosophies that, most of the agencies, and I'm talking here about us specifically, I think there is a shift between channel budget allocation to audience budget allocation. I don't think there is anything that is not available on digital, yet TV has its own charm. I believe there are fixed ad slots, and the reach is culminating very well. But the measurement, the getting your cohorts right, everything works very well in digital. So for us, it's an integration of screen agnostic planning that's working well. And if I were to keep my answer very short, we would rather be present where the audience is. It can be digital outdoor, it can be TV, it can be print, it can be online video, it could be short form, it could be influencer. Selection is just a function of this.
So in fact, the principle is same, right? When we look at from a coverage to a consumer, earlier we used to plan for the markets, right? I'll plan for West Bengal, I'll plan for Tamil Nadu, that's how we used to plan. Nowadays, we start planning for the audience. That's the advantage that, today's era has given it to us. And keeping the basic principle same, and we work towards, refinement and better value for the money. That's where the technology actually gives us an access to, deliver that to our brands.
Interesting. Althea, about Truecaller, could you help understand about its awareness in India, acceptability in India, and what are the options for an advertiser to look on Truecaller?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Fourth Dimension, for having us here. That's a hard one to follow after Arnab. But just a quick reminder about what Truecaller does. We are a utility app that helps build smarter, safer, and more efficient communication. This has given us 450 million global users, out of which 300 million sit out of India. Just to give perspective here, India is believed to have about 900 million internet users, and 1 out of 3 users are Truecaller users. So acceptance is truly there. Awareness of what we do is there, because this is all naturally quite adopted and solving for a huge problem, a very rampant problem that exists. From the acceptability, we also have about 2,500 plus businesses who work with our verified services. So we're truly loved by India, and India's home to us.
That's interesting. I didn't know that the number was almost like 2/3 of your global subscribers are based out of India. Okay, coming to an advertiser now. So Mr. Nandgopal, if you can help us understand, with the changing consumption trends, how finely are you slicing your media spends?
Yeah, with the increasing influence of digital and of course the changing consumer behavior, we have also recalibrated our media investment. So if you look at, there's an ATL and there's a BTL angle to it. And if you look at the ATL side, where earlier, it was 80-20 skewed towards traditional media, today that has increasingly moved to 40-60 for us, for our line of products. And within the digital stream itself, we all know that digital is a very fragmented universe. So we kind of focus more on search, online video, and social in that context. Now, 40% is moving towards the BTL side. So that's because, we have a lot of push categories. And so on-ground activation becomes important. So if you look at it at an overall pie, it's a 60-40 ratio between ATL and BTL. And within ATL, the construct and breakup that are given. And that's how we're looking at it.
Rohan, in absence of a single currency on measurement, how difficult is it to address the brand's reach and frequency with a consolidated view?
I think that continues to be a problem, being extremely honest in the room. We are a function of a very triangulated data technique, right? One is that our reliance on BARC. We hear a lot of news right now and, strong point of views. At the same time, there is second, which is platform-dependent data, what the Googles and Meta will give you. Third, independent partners trying to drive their own BLS. there is definitely a need for a single consolidated view, but I don't think it will be purely done because of some digital metrics at play, because unfortunately, each of these walled gardens operate differently, which you are aware of. And in that complex ecosystem, trying to make sense of what is absolute reach, what is unique reach, how many eyeballs have you reached out to, and then finally what's working, right? The hoarding could have played a major impact in your selection of the OTT show that you're going to watch. But in digital terms, it will say because you clicked on a show that, it will make sense. I think the industry needs one, but it will not be an easy problem to solve because there will be multiple nuances within digital. If you look at how the industry evolved, right? At one point of time, they used to say that impression is the ultimate metric. Then came click as the ultimate metric. Then the VTR as the ultimate metric. Then the dwell time as a metric. Then viewability as a metric. And all the way now to attention as a metric. So we are saying initially impressions getting served were fine. And now we are saying the number of seconds that you are spending on the impression is important. So I believe it is going to continue to be complex, but along with many, and I think a lot of industry bodies also coming together to solve this. I don't know if it will just be a panel plus a digital data. Something should definitely turn around, and I think with all the minds between advertisers, agencies, partners, brands all coming together, we can attempt it.
No, it's actually critical also because today people who are actually browsing through reels and YouTube shorts. The funny fact is that a 0 second is the view time that is considered for it to be kind of accounted for as an impression. So those are the kind of challenges that advertisers are. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Ramsai, you have been a buyer for a long, long time. And how different is it as heading in or doing an investment into digital platform, given the fact that most of us have actually learned the methodology of buying television and print to start with? So how do you navigate that, and what are the broad differences, if you could just kind of highlight on that?
When it comes to completely buying, see, we are not buying anything which is like, we buy and then we fly away, right? So we buy and we continue to buy today, tomorrow, and again future. So we are actually reaching out to a consumer, right? Earlier days also we were doing the same thing. The method of doing was different than today's era. That's the very basic element of, today's advantage. As I said that, technology helps us to, drive anything that is impossible to a possible in today's world. And from a mindset point of view, of course, the upskilling is definitely an important thing. I keep telling my own people that, it's like when somebody goes into an examination, when they score, 99 or 99.9%, and very next day they are getting into a job. And it doesn't mean they've learned everything completely, right? Their zero-based learning starts from the day one of their work. That's how that whenever any medium, any newer tech opportunity comes, that's what actually makes us to learn and to be paced up with it so that, we can actually make use of those platforms, keeping the principles and ethical guidelines and the brand safe guidelines intact. We go and actually, deliver the return for the brands. So I don't think so much of difference, what we have been doing it, but now we are doing it in a better, passionate way, and there are a lot of competition exists around us. If you blink your eyes, and maybe you will get vanished from this place. So you have to be awake and keep delivering. Your own benchmark becomes your own target for tomorrow. That's what it is.
Yeah, because one of the key challenges that one would anticipate coming on digital is also the fact that if there's something new coming in, there's no benchmark. Whereas, on television or print, you would always you will draw a parallel and have an analogy. On digital, it becomes completely difficult to kind of have a benchmark and then justify the rate that's coming in.
So my boss is sitting and laughing. When I said my own benchmark becomes my target, now he knows what target to give next year. He's sitting in the front seat and laughing.
Give him some relaxation. He's doing a good job. Mr. Nair, how do you evaluate options on OTT platforms?
Okay, OTT, I think, needs to be looked at it from a multidimensional lens, if you ask me. One, in terms of scale. So, if you look at it on these live properties, marquee properties, AVOD platforms, that is one on scale. Second thing is, of course, precision. With programmatic buying and some niche content ecosystem, you have the ability to sharp a target. Third is premium associations like your SVOD originals, etc., which gives you the largeness for the brand, and there's a brand halo by participating in it, because these are very niche advertisers on these kind of mediums. But I think the fundamental fact remains that it's not about which platform, but it's about which audience, in what context, and where they are in the funnel, in the buying funnel. And so I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all strategy for OTT, but we need to think through in the context of the consumer.
Althea, we were having one side conversation a while back wherein I was telling you that I'm one of the few people who probably pays for the Truecaller service. And given, now that I know the maths, we have 300 million people and I don't know how many of them are subscribing. But on a broader perspective, do platforms like Truecaller and similar services, are they profitable in India?
So thanks to you, yes. Okay, so I just want to reiterate the purpose of Truecaller. It is committed to deliver trusted and safer services to both users and brands. And as a NASDAQ Stockholm listed company, we ensure the transparency and accountability. This has us driving quarter on quarter strong performance results and profitability as we go.
Rohan, in your opinion, do platforms like Google, Meta, and the other publishers, are they making money in India, or are they still kind of into that phase of investing and burning some money?
All right, I think starting off with Truecaller, profitable, like they mentioned. I think Google and Meta are definitely profitable at a global scale. I think one of the core reasons for this is, as consumers, a lot of information that we need is a function of the searches that we do, and they are the leading search engine. Let's talk about Alphabet, right? If you are, kind of reviewing A product versus B, or going on YouTube, they are present there. So a lot of consumption or the products that they have built is centered around how the consumer is moving on the online space. Same holds true also for Meta, right? The fact that we are addicted to reels and we are, there is doom scrolling happening where, it's like a never-ending loop of dopamine hits trying to give you the content, and we live in two algorithms. One is your own, which is our own, and second is what the industry is watching. And between all of this, products that are inherent to the consumption pattern of the consumers will be profitable. Like Google, I think the 2024 for Alphabet largely was about $350 billion. For Meta has been about $160 billion. So they are very profitable. But when it comes to a very diverse OTT space in India, with about close to 57 plus unique OTT players, the struggle is between subscription revenues to ad revenues. And finding a sweet spot has always been a function of whether in that month a content has helped you break the subscription barrier. Because, today people are not really looking at, I am subscribing to OTT A. I want to watch this content. And wherever that content is, if the subscription doesn't exist, then they will take it. I'm told that OTT is facing a challenge, but I believe every publisher in India is profitable because if it's able to channelize audiences in buckets that are relevant for marketeers. Scale may be a challenge for them. And as agencies, I would say that, maybe still quoting low, 50% of the budget going towards a Google and Meta, also for the kind of products that they build. With all this, I'm sure they are, and I think it's giving value back to brands, which is more important.
Yeah, I think it's given the fact that even Amazon has kind of started their ad feed right now. And I think globally they have partnered with Netflix now to share back-end data to target audiences both on Netflix as well as on Amazon. I think, yeah, it's trying to kind of give back to the ecosystem and enrich the data. Coming to a scenario wherein we see phases of cord cutting and cord shaving, and the fact that appointment viewing is missing. People are actually watching content at their own schedules and other things. CTV becomes significantly critical in most households. And again, some of the conversations that I have been having is CTVs again started becoming like a community viewing. The handles have ended up being individual viewing. So from a CTV perspective, Ram, if you could help us understand what is your perspective, point of view on CTV and how advertisers can benefit from this particular medium.
See, end of the day, people keep, referring CTV, linear TV, and free to air. See, what is the objective is here? The objective is to reach out to the consumers. So we've got different set of audiences can be reached out through different, methods of the vehicles, right? Modes of the vehicles. So today's arena, when we are actually as an investment person, so when we are actually using the linear television versus CTV, linear TV, we use them for the traditional way of, maintaining the complete top of mind recall. And then definitely the CTV gives us the cutting edge technology to, go and further deep dive into it and then do a sharp targeting and all. So, and also it allows us to, experiment and pilot some of the newer brands which are actually available in a particular segment of people or particular geographical limits. This is how these two actually, complements each other in today's scenario. And yes, it actually also brings television viewing into a different pleasure altogether, because everything is on the button click away that, CTV people can actually access the contents of their own choice. So that's where, then today's scenario that where we have seen that, more than 6,000 hours of contents are being consumed, right, in a week itself. So that's not possible within linear TV, where the linear TV has certain limitations over there. So this is what, I guess this 40 million CTVs are going to add more charm into the people's life.
So just kind of flipping the question now to Mr. Nair and Althea. What's the role of television in the current scenario for your respective brands?
I think television continues to play a major role. I think the definition of television probably has changed a little. I mean, if you look at linear TV, it still is one of the best mediums for mass reach. And when you go to the tier 2, tier 3s and tier 4s, it is a very solid vehicle to take forward. And what is important is also television gives you that largeness. And so as a brand, if you're on television, you're seen to be big. I mean, you're seen to be, and for brand building, I think it's one of the best mediums, because for storytelling, and to amplify your stories, you need the benefit of television. Now coming to CTV, right, which is your new, the extension of your television, is become important, and it's what it enables you is to target your SECA premium audience, in the urban cities, because it gives you that leverage, and it gives you the leverage of, sharp targeting with digital measurement. So, and like Ramsay was just saying, I mean, that base is growing. Today, it's about 40-50 million households. So I think it's, as a brands, what we need to do is to have a balanced approach, depending on what your objectives are, and how are you going to use both the televisions, if I may say so.
Althea?
So I'm glad you asked. My space is completely digital. But we look at television formats and how we could bring that into the digital space, considering that we are that handheld device and we're with everyone at any time. To just quote a few of the solutions that we have something called the masthead, which is a placement that is on an incoming unknown call. So it is positioned to give that attention for a brand, and also have a user pause before they engage and move on with their call and the utility. Playing in the space of visibility, awareness, and then if you want to kind of need the space, I would say, for creativity, we also do have a whole portfolio of formats that can even tell those stories. So I mean, we invite challenges like television or CTV coming into it. I mean, no one can contend with television, but CTV has a digital angle, which we think and we know that has a space where we can also be telling a story very relevant to the format as well. In both cases, they are not clickable, and that allows you to also build on that brand story that you want and the positioning that you have.
Just one question, I'll check with Rohan and I'll come back to you because you actually just triggered some thought in my head. Rohan, you are interestingly discussing about the challenges that some of these OTT guys are facing in terms of making money and all. Given that thread of thought, what do you think is the future of OTT platforms in India?
I think OTT is like the main dish now. I don't think it's a side dish anymore. And this I'm talking from an agency or a brand's perspective because there is investment going on these platforms. A short answer for that, what can OTT platforms do? Number one, a very hybrid monetization model, which is catering to the consumers not necessarily by markets, but bite-sized because they can get in, opt out quickly because it's a function of content. Second, thinking regional. I think the OTT players, only about 50% is what maybe there is English content, 50% and beyond, maybe even 60% is regional content and Hindi and the other languages. And third, thinking CTV. I think OTT players need to have a CTV specific, package. I think the beautiful thing that's happening is, I don't think OTT is really killing TV. It's actually empowering TV that, what TV could never do before. The power of large format, at least 32-inch and above, and the measurability of digital, the power of cohorting, and then obviously dynamic content, understanding ACR getting play, OEMs playing a major role, low cost of data, low cost of smart TVs, low cost of handsets, all coming together. We are going to be a market, and there are roughly about 600 million people who watch OTT content today. The numbers are a proof that this is going to be mainstream for us, and I think it should, and going forward will not only be a function of whether there is a cricketing event happening. Obviously there the investments get channelized, and they get channelized because the audience congregates there. It'll do extremely well for the brands, and we don't have to rely on the otherwise known two major walled gardens in India to be able to garner reach is what the future should hold.
Absolutely. Altha, just coming back to you, you did also touch upon some interesting formats on your platform. So 2-3 questions were just kind of floating in my head. One is, what are the typical challenges you face with advertisers? Second is, how does one measure success on a platform like Truecaller? And maybe if you could just give some use case examples, whether it's in examples from India or abroad, it would definitely help understand how we can kind of partner with Truecaller as a platform.
Okay, my answer might be more than 1 minute, but...
I'm used to it.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a tricky question about the challenges we face. I'm in a room full with advertisers. I better be diplomatic about this one. But I'll just say that challenges happen when one interacts, and I think there are ways that we have found to overcome and move on. Challenges can also drive a certain amount of innovation, and that's exactly what happened with Truecaller ads. We took real feedback from our partners and built out our whole full stack solution offering to them. I mean, I quoted some numbers earlier about the kind of reach and scale that we have. So we were typically known as being a brand, like a mass or a branding format, and at scale. We then built this out into more offerings for middle, your consideration buckets, where you have innovative plays other than display to kind of, tell a story, tell a brand story, something we refer to as Truecaller Play. And then we do have the lower end of the funnel as well, where brands have clear performance KPIs, and we have different buy models that also facilitate this. And I have to thank the advertisers for actually pushing us in that direction. And now they have a whole portfolio that they can choose from. To give you a few examples that we worked with, from the innovation portfolio I was talking about, we have something called Click to Experience. As the name would suggest, when you click on it, it opens a whole brand experience. We've had two categories similar in nature, handsets and telecom in India as well as Southeast Asia, who have used it for their launches and service awareness, and have seen how it stands out in a space of clutter, and it also tells a story that you need to as a brand. When I have to touch on the scale that we do and we have, in a day we can give you about 3 billion impressions, 160 million reach. To put this in perspective, IPL happens maybe once, twice, not maybe once and maybe twice in a year. And you get about maybe 169 to 170 million views. We can deliver that in one day. So you can get as large as that, or you can go down to the precision that we were talking about of talking to your very relevant audiences with our insights and our data ability. You can get creative, like I said, with our formats that you need. Also in the performance play, there are some partners in the room like TTK, healthcare and consumer, worked with particular cohorts that went after homemakers, mothers, to talk about their products, and it really successfully worked out for them. Additionally, we've got various other homemade Bharat brands with Usha, Havells, Orient Electrics, who are adopting these because they can see the precision that's there and build on their consideration models. We have the scale to even break this down to tier 1, tier 2, or South India alone with 65 million. I know I'm quoting numbers here, but it's just to give you an idea of what all we can do and how this can build out into various use cases and open that portfolio for you as you need and how you need. So yeah, there's a lot. I can quote a good few from the South, and I'm proud of it because I think the South as a region has always been very intelligent with how they work with media. They've taken baby steps, but when they take their step, you have a real strong partnership. Muthoot is another corporate that works and actually is very experimental in nature. And I just want to leave that on the table with all advertisers, is that experimentation is important. Allocate some budgeting to it, because that's when you discover things about what media can do for you and how your brand or service is doing out there. And there is loads of choice out there, and I think talking to publishers is the best way for you to maneuver through this landscape, especially to understand it and do it on your terms, but engage, because that's the best way you know what's out there and can do wonders.
I couldn't agree less, because as a publisher you would know the nuances of your platform and how things can get addressed out there. So
absolutely,
I think it makes more sense for me to just come and throw a challenge at you and you help me with the solution.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it on the agency alone to do that job, because they're talking to multiple, and it isn't fair. But that education is important, and I know we hound, but we hound for good reason. And as long as we can give you something and we have a solution for you, we'll keep hounding.
Absolutely. Interestingly, we still kind of talk about markets where you face challenges in terms of getting reach and other things. So one question, Ram, that comes to my head: are there any media dark markets anymore?
I've been listening this, ever since I started. When I started, only 73 channels. I started just 30 years back. So today we are sitting with 700 plus channels. And there are consumers across. To put it from a factual point of view, so we've got almost 320 million households, of which still 80 million to 90 million, which comes under as in media dark markets. And having said 182 million households have an access to television, where they actually consume linear as well as connected TVs and all. What does this 80 to 90 million people means to us? When you call them as a media dark, it's only when you are completely discarded from them, not able to reach them by all means, then it becomes a media dark, right? But today, that's not the situation with us. I'm taking a cue from, what Arnab has mentioned, right? Access of internet is not growth, but access of internet is an opportunity for the brands to reach out to those audiences, right? Those consumers. And that's where the growth will come from, right? In terms of the AdX. So today we have got such a 900 million plus internet users in India has given us given the brand to access all the consumers across various parts of the world. So to me, if you ask me, it takes extra pain and you will have to, identify the medium to reach out to them. To me, there is no, it's my personal opinion. It can vary from others. There is no media dark market. I'll give you one small example from ITC only. Each of all. You reached out, right? What you categorized, the people categorized them as media dark market. You've reached out to 4,000 villages, right? 40,000 farmers, if I'm right, the numbers. You are the better person to know these numbers. And likewise, we look at our own client DS group, corporate. There are CSR initiatives that they do it, which is like nurturing the women farming community people, which is Farm Her. In the first go itself, we've reached out to close to 12 to 15,000 people, where they've never had any base and means of television or a newspaper or a radio consumption, but they all had mobile. That's where it is, right? I mean, I can quote a lot of examples like this. Unilever reached out to people, which is like a case study for everyone, for us, which is Khan Kajura, right? There are ways and means to reach out to media dark market. But to me, there is no way. Everything is possible. That's what. You just join hands with the Havas, we will take you to the world.
That's a good one. बच्चे ने काम कर लिया. Okay. Now, Ram, just coming back to another medium now, which is print. We heard some of the things in the afternoon and some conversations that have been happening with regards to English print kind of taking a hit in terms of circulation and other things. So, broad question is, do you think print still has any juice left into it? And is there anything else that publications can do as an innovation on print to offer to advertisers as well as to readers?
So I must quote again. So I'll start from a very small number. 29.9, which is approximately 30 million newspapers are sold every day. That's like, it's like higher than your European country's population, right? So that's the power of print today, if I have to tell you. And second is, and again when I say that these are all certified numbers, which is like, June Audit Bureau of Circulation, they've certified these numbers. Whether is there a growth or not, Jayesh? Yes, there are about, compared to a previous season, 8,25,000 copies have been printed, sold additionally during this period of time, which is around 2.77%, which is like huge number, right? In a print base. So what it tells us, print has its own relevance. Coming to that, is there any juice left? Since you said juice, do you love mangoes, Jayesh? Let me tell you why I'm asking you this. We were the first one to innovate for one of our clients, Swiggy, and the people of Karnataka, Bangalore would have definitely experienced this, where during the mango season that we've actually joined hands with our own print publishers. We brought out with photochromatic ink, where people actually, when they open the newspaper at room, they would see only the mango tree. The moment, they expose that to a sunlight, they suddenly see the mangoes have been, blossom without even being flowers being seen, that the mangoes have come that quick, that fast. That's what it is like. The innovation actually takes the messages to the people. And not only this, we have also, got into various, Fevicol has done, right, where the physics, this is sensory, and even in Mango ad, we have put mango fragrance in the newspaper, where it's lasted for, I think, sometimes one of my friends said it was there for almost 2 days. That's what it is. Like it's a kind of sensory. When it comes to a physical touch and all, Fevicol, we all know that, right? So just they wanted to, demonstrate the hardness. They pasted two pages together, right? I don't know how many of you have experienced it. And when you try to tear it off, it was so hard to tear it off, right? That's the innovation, right? So to me, yes, print has lot of possibilities to, execute an innovation. It's the way that, what again, I only take you from Arnab that, it's a cue of, idea that will actually bring all these things alive. We are the investment
we
team.
didn't hear that, right?
So we are the investment team. I think they should be given.
So, just a quick this thing, we keep hearing about the Gen Z audiences and other things. And again, they have different consumption habits when it comes to the, regular media and other things. So, Rohan, from your perspective, what are the broad changes in the Gen Z ecosystem, and how do we reach this TG from a media perspective?
Right. A, I think they are highly influential. B, either they are overpowering us or we are trying to explain them. I don't know what is working out, but I know for a fact that they look at more of open internet than the rest of the generations did. They are more they're more open to content driving their decision making. They are in this constant phase of active evaluation, looking at, what are the different touch points do I look at and then kind of ratify my purchase belief. So that is working. They have their own core beliefs and set of influences that they find as their North Star. I don't think loyalty is built immediately for them. But, this entire trend change, and I'm not even getting into the behavioral or cultural aspect that they exhibit, but purely from a marketing and decision-making perspective, I think they're very different. And what we are doing is to try and understand these, because the platforms change, the messaging changes, and also the way you approach them and the frequency greatly gets impacted. So we are definitely seeing a lot of change in the way we have to be preparing ourselves to be appealing to the Gen Z generation, and a lot of brands that we manage have a lot of Gen Z first audience as well.
Mr. Nair, last question from my end on the panel. Given that we keep hearing AI and tools kind of being used by most of the marketers in AI, what do you think is the role of AI in content creation in this fragmented digital world, and relevance of long-form content and increasing demand of video content?
Yeah, I think AI is a very powerful enabler in terms of content creation. I think what it has done is it has given us marketers one scale, because today the need and ask for content is so high. And with AI, you're enabled to deliver scale. Two is cost. At the fraction of a cost, probably, we have created so many pieces of content today, even as good as even films, which were gone. And doing it at a fraction of a cost is what it would take, perhaps, if you go out and shoot and go the conventional way of creating that piece of content. Three, is it also, I think the other one is cost, one is scale. Then I think the other part is also that AI is, AI helps in a big way in terms of, reaching out to a mass scale, right? So it helps us in a big way to reach out to a mass scale. The fourth is also about personalization. It helps us a big way in personalization. So if you want to personalize your content, AI gives you that window. Now, quickly coming to long form, short form, I think, Jesh, that it is not about short form and long form. There's many a time I'll just take us 1 minute. There's many a time the concern that you need to capture attention in 6 seconds and all that. But trust me that we have created pieces of content which is more than 2.5 minutes, and we had outstanding engagement. So I think it's about how, if you have authentic narratives, which is coupled with the purpose, the larger purpose of the brand, then consumers will lap it up. So I don't think it's that. And needless to say, today it's a day of video. I think statics are passé. Everyone wants anything and everything in video. So I think video will continue to rule.
Thank you. And with that, we kind of end this session after multiple reminders from behind. So thank you.
No, full marks to this amazing panel. And look at the passion. Look at that passion. That is why brands succeed with them, right? They all have flights to catch up, but they're unstoppable. Let me tell you, amazing, amazing. And to celebrate the wonderful panel and moderator, may I please invite on stage Mr. Ganesh Ram, MD and CEO, MF Utilities, to please join us on stage. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Atul Prabhu. Can I have you on stage?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly wonderful to be here. I work in Truecaller as the Director of Product Management. I lead the global ads product. So I and the team essentially obsess about creating ad products which not only fulfill the advertisers' objectives on the one hand, but also create really meaningful and impactful experiences for users. So before I get into my presentation, I'll just want to show a quick video. All right. So Truecaller's mission is simple. The mission is to make communication safer, smarter, and more efficient. And if you think about it, this problem has never been as important, as ever before. 1 in every 3 phone calls that an average Indian receives is from outside the phone book. On an average, the Indian consumer receives 3 spam messages in a day. It is estimated that in just last year alone, upwards of 22,000 crores was lost in frauds and scams. So this is a large problem and it's becoming even bigger, and Truecaller is on a mission to solve this. So if you think about it, trust is built very deeply into what Truecaller does, into how consumers use Truecaller on a daily basis, and how the kind of perception we're able to drive in the user's mind. And we do this with the help of our best-in-class solutions. The first is, of course, the caller ID, which helps you identify who's calling. We also have something called verified businesses, which is essentially to let you know if there are legitimate businesses trying to reach out to you. And then, of course, there's messaging or SMS. And now when we think about, talk about ads on Truecaller, like how does it all come together, right? There's a reason why more than 10,000 brands continue to work with Truecaller on the ad side on a continuous basis. And I spoke about trust. I think it goes back to trust. When you have that kind of a product, you have unparalleled reach. Like Althea spoke about this, in this panel. In the world, we have 450 million global users. In India, 300 million. And in South India, we have 75 million monthly active users. And it's not just that. It's also about the stickiness. So if you see our DAU to MAU ratio, it's upwards of 80%. That's right up there in terms of the best apps in the world. So not only do we have a very large base of users, they actually come back onto our app almost on a daily basis, which is phenomenal. And these numbers are right up there in terms of any benchmark that you can think of, in terms of the best media properties which are out there. So think of your IPL cricket season, think of your T20 World Cup, the numbers are right up there. But it's not just about reach, it's also about relevance. And relevance really has two parts to it. One is the fact that you're able to meaningfully cohort users. So for example, you're able to reach out to mothers, shoppers, travelers. And then there's also the context in which you're showing. And this is also one of the discussion points that came up in the last panel. So if you think about it, the attention span of users today is lower than ever. There are so many apps which are competing for attention, whether it's social, whether it's gaming, whether it's messaging. And here, Truecaller has a unique advantage. If you get a phone call, the attention level is at the highest. And it's also the most uncluttered screen. So it's relevance in terms of finding the right audience, but it's also relevance in terms of how your brand's message is placed on the screen in the context of the user. And when we do that, when you reach the relevant users in the relevant manner, we see that it drives results for businesses. Just 3 examples of how we've been able to drive impact among many. I want to move on to Truecaller ad products. So I lead this team, and I am the team, like I was saying, obsess about this on a daily basis on how can we continue to create innovative products for businesses that solve meaningful problems for businesses, and at the same time create cutting-edge experiences for users on the other side. Now, our approach has been full funnel, just like every business has different kinds of needs at different points in time. Truecaller has essentially built solutions around all of those use cases. So if you think about it, right at the top of the funnel, if you want to build mass awareness, we have things like roadblock. You can essentially drive billions of impressions in just a matter of a day. Then if you talk about more mid-funnel solutions, like for example, if you want to take the user onto a website, if you want to build consideration, we of course have a lot of targeted solutions there. And then the bottom funnel, which is becoming increasingly popular among advertisers, which is hardcore efficiency, driving transactions, conversions. We've invested very heavily in AI and continue to do so to continuously give that efficient media buying at the bottom of the funnel to advertisers. Now, what makes Truecaller ads product stand out? The first part I would say is how intelligently we're able to use the data and the context to segment users. And it's not just about segmenting the users, but the context that I was talking about, that becomes supremely important, and which is where Truecaller really stands out. If you think about it, by nature of the way Truecaller is, we are able to find and infer that context in an unparalleled manner. If you get a call from a business and you've been on the call for some time, or if you've been interacting with certain kinds of call from certain kinds of business profiles, those are signals, very important signals for us to tap into in terms of context. Now imagine the kind of brand messaging and impact that you can create when you can place your message in that context. It's unparalleled. Then there's AI-driven, engine that we've built and we continue to work on. Everything is now moving into 100% automation, which means which ad to show to which user at which point in time to drive what result is an AI agent of sorts, which is basically working, behind the scenes. And then creative optimizations, like for sure, what you see is very different from what I see, and that is different from a case-to-case basis. I want to take this opportunity to talk about a few innovations that we've done that we're truly been working hard on and very excited about. So this is Truecaller Play. Again, Althea briefly spoke about this. This is where we've gone above and beyond from what static or plain vanilla offerings existed. We've gone ahead and done rich media, interactive solutions, interstitials, ministitials that all come together, and where everything else remains the same. The contextual targeting, the data intelligence, all of that remains the same, but we've been able to create more interactive formats. And I'll just play a quick video to showcase it.
We deliver over 5 billion brand moments every single day. With 3 billion roadblocks, first-party targeting, and high-impact masthead placements, we've helped brands scale, perform, and stay visible. That's why over 10,000 brands across sectors trust us to deliver results. But when you asked for more, we listened. Introducing Truecaller Play, a full suite of non-static, high-impact formats built for scale, creativity, and better engagement. From standard video formats to custom canvas builds, Truecaller Play lets your brand do more than just being seen. It lets it be experienced. Rich media, interactive elements, cinematic takeovers, all within the trusted Truecaller interface. We even help you build it. It's a complete product suite built for marketers who want more. So go ahead, push boundaries, play big. This is your playground. Truecaller Play. The evolution is here.
All right, so that's all about Truecaller Play. I now want to move on to something else which we're very, very excited about. So this is called Truecaller Cart. What we've done here is essentially we've deeply integrated with the various quick commerce apps and essentially built a very seamless click to commerce experience. So if you're on Truecaller and there's a certain context in the kind of cohorting, etc., all of that we spoke about, you could with just one click land on the page, that relevant product page on the quick commerce app, and imagine as a business, you've moved the consumer from awareness to consideration to purchase, and then the loop gets closed as well. Like the product is also delivered to the consumer within a matter of minutes. So this is something that we're very excited about and we're going very deep into. Any business that has products listed on quick commerce can essentially tap into this to essentially just close that entire consumer loop in a matter of minutes. And then there's something, we've always had roadblocks, which is essentially the opportunity for your brand to take over Truecaller, right, on a day or on a weekend. Now, we're very excited about the prospect of launching something called regional roadblocks. Now, this is for you, if you want to take over your town, if you want to paint your town red, imagine the possibility where in your town, in your city, in the market that you care about, on a day or on a weekend, every phone call that users receive have the opportunity, like for you, to show your brand's message on those screens. It's unparalleled impact. And this is something, again, that we've been seeing a lot of interest in, and we're doubling down on a lot as well. I'll walk you through a very quick case study, how we were able to drive a lot of impact for Xiaomi. There was a new launch that they wanted sort of to amplify. We were able to drive not just billions of impressions, but also drive search intent and really amplify the launch. CTR upwards of 2% and like 16 million clicks. So, I mean, if we talk about numbers, I think Truecaller will always have, I think, tremendous numbers. But the note that I want to leave with is this. As a marketer, as anybody who deals with media buying decisions, there are really a few things that you care about, right? Very simple, broad, high level, few things that you care about. You want to place your brand's message in a platform which is safe, trusted, and something which you know is right and not trusted among users. You want reach in the right numbers that you care about, and also in terms of the relevant reach that you want in the relevant manner. And ultimately, you want to drive the results that matter for the brand and for the business. And Truecaller checks all those boxes, and Truecaller is on a mission to continue to innovate and offer innovative ad products which bring consumers and advertisers together. So whenever you're next thinking about allocating your marketing budgets, Truecaller should be on top of your mind. On that note, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
So very much, Atul, that was fabulous. And let me tell you, I have no problems, at least with YouTube. I have issues with the ads when it comes to Truecaller. I enjoy the ads because I know something amazing is waiting for me on the other side. And to felicitate our fabulous speaker, may I please invite on stage Mr. Anand, the co-founder of Sweet Karam Coffee. Can I please have you on stage? Fab session. Thank you for taking us through and telling us the impact of Truecaller. We're going to look at another exciting session, and I'm going to bring all of them onto the stage. May I please invite the esteemed panel. That is Kurian Thomas, Director of Marketing and Administration, Viga Land Homes. Unikrishnan BK, Senior Vice President, Asia News Network Private Limited. V. Umanath, Managing Editor, Media News for You. Of course, Sharad Mohan, General Manager, Sales and Marketing. Pulkit Steel Private Limited to please join us on stage. Sujata Singh, President, South Havas Media India. This is going to be moderated by Princey Roy, co-founder and CEO, Hiwala Services. Am I excited to see female leaders on stage? Yes. So what the audience is going to do is going to cheer louder. Come on, you can do better.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you all had your cup of coffee. And thank you so much. Before I start the panel, I think I have to thank Shankar and his lovely team for organizing such a wonderful, session. This is my first at the South India Media Summit, and after I started my own company, and Shankar was like, you have to be there. And I think I didn't want to argue with that, so I'm there. And, when Shankar asked you to come, you have to come. And this topic, when he told me that you be a moderator, this topic is very personal to me. I've been in this business for a very long time, so I understand what this topic means. And I guess CTV has been in conversation for a very long time, and it's been a big debate whether it is the future of television, where is it going? There's a lot of conversation around it. And so we have a lovely panel here today who probably will decipher what CTV exactly means, what's the future of television, where is it going, and I hope we are able to create a thought-provoking session. So I'll start with a simple question and with the topic. So when you hear, CTV or future of television, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? And do you really believe this terminology, or you think it's just another fancy word from the ad tech world? So any one of you can answer.
Today, the homes our homes became a dual TV scenario, while the cable comes through the to the television. The remote functions as multiple options. So you have a hybrid box which helps you to view the regular broadcast content. At the same time, you also have an internet connected options loaded with apps and other options, which is of our convenience. So one side it is appointment viewing, on the other side it is apna time, prime time. That's it.
Anybody else want to take this up?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon all. This is Unikrishnan here. I am from Asianet News. Princey, the good thing is that whether it is linear television or ZTV, end of the day, television exists. television is going on. So like few years back, there was this narration that print is over, television is taken over, and now the recent past you have television is over, digital is taking over, right? But then the good news is that television in whatever format is there, it is going to continue. And as some of the previous things, there's a juice in television is still there, and it is only that we need to take it and drink. Whichever way it is, juice is there.
So do you think CTV is an evolved form of television?
Yes, of course. It's an evolved form of television. In both the format, linear TV and CTV, both is going to remain in the market. As Mr. Unikrishnan told, this is not going to vanish off for the time being. Because if the statistics, if you take in India, India is the largest country in the world, which has got 89% of the digital penetration happened. And that too in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, it is keep on increasing. The government's initiatives and everything helps all these digital formats to sustain and more number of viewers are going to increase. Likely he told print is not going to be finished and television also is not going to be finished. Everything will be remaining and going much more larger. And the kind of innovations with the AI supported and data oriented systems which is generating in the market, which helps customers like us wanted to reach to the right targets in whichever market lying. And the electronic goods penetration, if you take in another format, recently one article came, almost 90% gas cylinder has got penetrated into the rural market. Parallelly, all these things, electronic gadgets, is going to penetrate the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and that naturally will expand the scope of CTV as well as linear TVs also. So the future is much believed to be very strong.
Both are here to stay.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to add something, Sujata?
So I think, this is a change which is here to stay. If you look at the stats, CTV household has kind of doubled in last 2 years. We see that impact in ad spends as well. So I wouldn't say it is an evolution of television. It is a combination of television and digital because you're not watching the same content that you watch on television. It's a different content that you are watching on CTV. So for the larger question, which is basically, linear TV and CTV, whether, are we going to write the obituary of linear TV? That time is, way too far. We are such a large country that, there is going to be both format or both forms of television consumption. However, having said that, linear TV is what is kind of witnessing an accelerated growth.
Thank you so much. Corinne, I have a question for you. So real estate has always been print heavy. It has been probably television also to a large extent. Do you see CTV becoming your front page for your category with the added advantage of targeting data, audiences?
Yes, definitely, because especially in real estate itself, now we have started segmenting our real estate division into township projects. Now we are focused into the boutique apartments. That's a different kind of a model which working out in real estate. Boutique apartments is something which is very unique, which offers customers very focused kind of luxury with a limited number of units. That's what we call the boutique apartments. So when we work in boutique apartments with a luxury, kind of things which has got a ticket size of minimum 2 crore plus, we very much focus into the CTV and the print. And if I take my experience, whenever we worked on CTV, we also, like to understand that the larger size of the TV, more than 50 inches, above the 35 inches, that actually, owned by the rich class. And we focused into that, and that kind of approach helps us to yield the result and reach to the right target. And not only that, a lot of innovations are possible with the database available under CTV. So there are a lot of dimensions which we can adopt. And of course, we use the linear TV also, because if you take major things, if something happens in the country, whether it is Operation Sindoor, whether a cricket match yesterday happened in India Park, people depend upon the linear TV for the news contents and all that. So the thing is that both the mix, how you wanted to utilize, the way you wanted to place your brand, whether you want to have a brand communication on a mass scale or you wanted to have a focused approach, it's a mix which helps actually people like us to have a choose on time to time. So in that way, it helps a lot.
So you're saying your media mix will definitely have CTV as a line
Definitely,
item,
media mix not only helps, it gives an opportunity to scale up our, kind of activities in much stronger way.
much stronger. Yeah, fair enough. My next question is to Uma. You are the broadcaster. Sorry, Unni Krishnan, sorry. Unni Krishnan. You are the broadcaster. You guys have owned the living room for the longest time.
Yes.
Now with CTV, the data and targeting sits with the platform, right? And devices. So do you see this as a chance for broadcaster to reinvent and lead? Or will the tech players own this game?
Well, that's a very nice question. In fact, as what Sujata ma'am was saying, rightly telling, this is not a linear TV and CTV, both are totally different platforms. Though the content is the same.
Same, yeah.
The advertiser, the way, as our Mr. Kurian was saying, the advertisers mix into advertising into a CTV will be different from that of a linear TV. So I don't feel or I don't see a challenge there. But then, as Mr. Ramsay was saying in the previous thing, see, CTV is like, I can't even call as 1/3 of the linear TV's penetration, but then definitely the reach and penetration will increase. And it presently serves SEC A or A+. So as long as, it doesn't go down, I don't see a threat there, basically. Go down to SEC, BC or whatever. But having said that, as how she was telling, it is more a digital driven content there rather than what we provide as such in terms of just television content basically is. So yeah, I don't really find a big difference there, but then.
But is this pushing you to build your own data ecosystem?
In fact, yes.
Yeah?
See, we have to openly embrace whatever is coming in. So if we are like kind of resistant to whatever is, the future,
yes.
and we just say that it's just narration and then there isn't any point in heeding to it, it is kind of ringing that bell. So what we need to do, or what we are, as far as Asianet News is concerned, what we are planning to do is that explore the possibilities of how this can evolve into a better medium. Package it in such a way that both linear and CTV kind of coexist
together.
And it benefits the broadcasters. End of the day, the content is the same, right?
The content is the king,
That's
so
right.
there's no shying away from that. Sharat, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
your industry is extremely different from your regular advertisers,
Yes,
right?
I think I'm the only panelist coming from building material.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it is very tricky industry. Unlike other panelists, they have a product to the end user.
No, you are the backbone of probably a lot of industry, right? You are
All
the
under
backbone.
infrastructure. To just add on, India is growing year on year by GDP close to 7 to 8%, out of which building material alone contributes close to 8%. So one of the largest contributor to the nation is the building material industry. So people are only aware about cement, steel, paints. There are close to 100 products or 100 materials is required to construct a end or a final home. Okay, as an end user, I would slightly differ from the other gentleman. There is a huge potential for TV channels itself to get into the depthness. Other than cement, steel and paint, they are not even pitching to a lot of categories like pipes, furnitures, fittings, exteriors, interiors. So many, there's a huge potential for this category itself.
So are you saying you are a category that none of us have targeted to reach out to?
You are all in a very comfort zone.
So all the salespeople who are sitting here, please, you know who to talk to.
So you all are in very comfort zone, only targeting to
No,
cement,
I
steel
think
and
I think you're absolutely right that somewhere we all go to
lot
the
of
usual suspects, and we don't.
huge potential is there. Lot of products are
So can you
unbranded.
tell me your media budget or something?
I'm just representing steel category, but I'm telling a lot of opportunities is there in terms of the product. We are limited to probably AI is coming, digital is coming, but there is a lot of space for these medias also.
But do you see CTV as a space for you to talk to your
First
audience?
I'm talking about TV itself,
It's still not explored
touched.
full.
Yeah.
Okay.
TV will be a best medium to build the brand, whatever may be the product. Even for a pipe company, even for a fittings company, even for a adhesive, lot of chemicals, construction chemicals are coming, new products are coming in the industry, as a building material. Lot of innovations are happening in the industry.
Yes, I'm
so
sure.
we are not pitching them.
So your first journey has to first, explore the
And
linear.
cement, for your information, ma'am, cement contributes close to 8 to 9% to the nation's GDP, followed by steel, 3 to 5%. Okay, such a huge potential.
Huge
Only
potential.
in these two materials I'm talking. Just take paints, your adhesives, lot of scope is there, and lot of regional players are there. We are focusing only like brands like Tata, JSW, Ultratech. Lot of small kings are there. It's like Charan, Soran, Pandian, Pallavas. Each brand is having their own market share and their number one. Suppose, for example, Coimbatore, if I take, there is a national player like JSW is having a market share of suppose 10 to 12%. There's a local player who's having 20% of the market share in this same market. So out of 100% of the market share, only 20% is being contributed by national brands. Rest 80% is being contributed by the regional brands, which we have not even.
Yeah, I guess we all sometimes behave like frog in a well.
So, then comes your CTV, whatever innovations in TV and all. My only suggestion is, a lot of entrepreneurs do not know how to make the product as a brand.
Valid.
And Tamil Nadu specifically contributes 25 lakh tons of cement is sold in Tamil Nadu. That is the data. And it is growing year on year 5 to 7%.
While, I'm happy taking the blame from this part of the business that, okay, we did not reach out, but could also be that, somewhere there is no conscious effort from your industry to talk to the end user.
It's highly unorganized industry. I agree to that. This category do not have an end user, they don't have a direct approach to the end user. It is rooted to the trade marketing or a channel partner. A dealer dealer is just an investor. Then comes your influencer. It's like a pharma industry. If a doctor prescribes, the patient has to buy the medicine. Similarly, if there are a lot of influencers are there, like especially like tier 2, it's a tier 1 city only. Engineers dominate the influencers, followed by contractors, followed by masons. If you go interior of Tamil Nadu or tier 2, tier 3, where more into down deep villages, mason contributes. Okay. So we have to have a communication strategy for each, influencers. I cannot speak the same language to a mason and the same communication to an engineer. I cannot give a communication for a dealer which may not relate to the engineer. So there is these are the challenges. All the challenges are the opportunity for us.
Absolutely. I think it's a great opportunity for us to explore a new revenue stream.
And I'm telling you, Tamil Nadu is one of the fastest growing, economy in South India. Do you agree? I think everyone will agree.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of things are happening, and I think probably next 5 years or 10 years down the line, an end user will come to a store. Okay, he will just negotiate for the overall construction of the house. He is not bothered about what cement, what steel you're using.
No.
He will come to a store. It will have all under products, all under one roof, and it will save the time and energy of the end user.
True. I agree with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Uma, my next question is to you. You come from news, and you keep meeting. You meet all of us, right? You meet the brand, you meet the tech platform, you meet agencies. From your perspective, what's the most interesting shift you see in how the industry is really approaching CTV? Or they're just thinking this as one more vehicle to advertise?
Before getting into it, I will just thank Sharad's stand because he has straight away put a question on the person only, right? Ad sales and the person in my left and media agency owner.
Yes,
You both are
opportunity.
not doing enough for the segment.
No, I think all of us,
And
made
then
us, all of us think.
finally he put up question to the brand owners themselves. The real estate
Totally.
brands will run for their money down the line because the people will directly go and negotiate with them in a couple of years. So really a bold statement that you have made.
Yeah,
Really.
amazing.
That's off to you. Coming to the thing. So out of 2.68 trillion media entertainment economy across India, we need to agree that digital is taking a lead. Having said that, obviously, CTV is one that's right now, according to Group M data, it is standing at 65 million homes, which is 30% of the overall TV homes.
Yes.
So again, obviously, if it is growing at that level, my understanding is that while, yes, television is still a dominant player who's playing a very constructive role in terms of reach. But at the same time, recently I got the opportunity to judge the Smarties, MMA Smarties awards. In that, I got an opportunity to sample near about some hundreds of entries. Out of that, I could see that the CTV as a medium was excellently exploited by the media today. And the way innovative campaigns have been executed for precise targeting, and particularly it comes with so much of targeting initiative. So if you want to do some targeted innovative campaigns, yes, CTV is there. And for captive audience, yes, that is there. But having said that, you also have platforms like DD Free Dish, which is reaching out to 50 to 60 million homes, which is again another huge potential, which talks about the mighty power of the television still that dominates the Hindi heartland. And of course, when it comes to the markets like South Indian markets, which are almost 90 plus percentage of the cable homes or TV homes are all TV home. I mean, TV penetration has reached 90 plus percentage. And still TV has the potential to reach out to that. So this is one side I'm looking at. And within CTV, if you look at, there are segments like fast channels, which is like platforms like we have Distro TV, we have Samsung Plus TV.
Yes.
These are all fast is nothing but free ad service television, which is similar to the free-to-air FTA channels that are being aired on the broadcast or satellite networks. So that is again dominating around 40% of the CTV segment. This is another interesting aspect which is likely to grow at somewhere around 73% at a compound annual growth rate. And the ad potential is standing somewhere around 80 million INR in the coming years. So this all gives a clear picture that while the agencies, media planners, on the other hand, AI, again, it started getting into the, media planning, buying everywhere. So it will have a larger impact. Tomorrow, it will decide where your spot, when your spot needs to be placed. That will be decided by AI down the line in couple of months. I don't want to say years because it is already there. It is just matter of someone coming out with the beta version ready. And by then, things will be decided by AI. Of course, it is going to give more, a better reach for the brand owners. Brand owners will have a very interesting, innovative options. On the other hand, they will also have a complex situation of decision making, where to go, how to go, and all that. So it is a tough task for the agencies also to decide carefully how to bet it, where to bet it, when to bet it, and how closely work with the marketers or the brand owners. And this is the scenario as of now I have observed, and going forward, it will be interesting to see how the market transforms.
And you still, you know, with smart TV penetration increasing and smart TV becoming affordable, data becoming affordable, you still feel that, you know, CTV will still has its course of journey. It will take like how many years for CTV to actually reach where probably linear TV is?
Obviously, the mad rush that's been triggered by the GST drop, of course, you can see that, you can get the feelers from the e-commerce platforms that it is real mad rush that. And out of that, the panels or the smart TVs were one of the highest selling. I was talking to a retailer, Vasant & Co, very recently, where he was sounding that these are one of the fastest moving in addition to the devices, I mean mobile or smart devices. That also adds to the acceleration. Definitely CTV is going to grow. Since the tier 2, tier 3 towns are the major contributors for CTV growth right now, which are more than the metros. That is another data point that we have been witnessing. So this is also adding to multiply CTV. CTV is definitely going to grow. Television has to find a way to exploit TV. I would like to slightly differ with our panelists. Of course, OTT, through OTT, people are watching TV. They are converting the appointment viewing into Apna time. So there, around 45% of the TV content is being viewed on digital. That's also need to be taken into consideration. So when you look at those aspects, yes, definitely CTV will have its way. So on the other side, when you come to the brands, recently LV Krishnan from TAM, he has quoted in one forum where he said that television was having 2 lakh brands across India. But with the addition of CTV and streaming, the number of brands advertising in India has gone to 6.5 lakhs, which is 3x more than what. So it clearly shows that there are television agnostic brands, digital only brands which are emerging. D2C brands are best example for that. They are purely emerging and they are exploiting, and maybe for the future scaling they may have to look at differently, but at the entry level they are really doing wonderful job, and that's something that needs to be taken both the television or TV broadcasters has to take note of actually.
Thank you so much. So basically we both have to work hand in hand. That's important. Obviously. Sujata, I have a question for you. Agencies have always been the, you know, architects of how brands sees television. With CTV, the rules seem to be, you know, rewritten by data and tech platforms. So do you see agencies leading this redefinition, or is there a risk of letting platforms shape the future of CTV?
So I wouldn't say platform, I would say it will be audience.
Okay.
So everybody follows audience, be it platform or be it advertiser. I think one of the one question that you had asked earlier, which is to do with platform owning the data and therefore the impact of that. As an equal custodian of brand growth or business growth, agencies are keeping pace with the changes and keeping our stakeholders informed in terms of what is next and what is new, and therefore how do we kind of navigate that journey. Having said that, what CTV is kind of offering to not just the platform but also the broadcaster is that, you know, till now we have been dependent on 50,000 BARC household panel. Now you have data for millions and millions of, you know, household, and you have the real data. So that offers you a lot of opportunity in terms of what content is really working, and there is no extrapolation. That is the real data. So that's one. The second thing is, you know, CTV, while we might call it a new thing, but this is something that television has also tried 10 years back. If you remember Amagi and Ad Shark, that's exactly what they were trying to do, and you know, we did not get success, but that is what right now CTV is at that particular stage. So I would just say that it is going to be impactful, and we'll have to just see where our audiences are. There'll be audiences for CTV, there'll be audiences for linear TV, and agency will play a definite role to help brands reach out to their audience in best possible manner.
So when you make your media mix, when you do your planning, where does CTV fit in the overall scheme of things? Like, is it the additional line item, or is it
No.
a thought through addition that, okay, fine, I need CTV?
No. So it starts from what the objective is and what we are trying to achieve. So, it will start from where the source of business is, who is going to be driving business. If I have a set of audiences whom I can reach out through CTV, then CTV is going to be part of the plan. So that would be the justification. We are no longer looking at CTV as, an additional line item. CTV will be part of the plan if it makes sense. If it is a widely distributed, product which is reaching out from tier 1 to, tier 3, 4 rural audiences, obviously, there is a case for linear TV because that gives you the lowest cost per reach. But if you have a brand which is, catering to, say, a tier 1 metro audiences, NCCSA, urban affluent audiences, then obviously, CT will be there.
And the success of your campaigns, when you're doing linear TV plus probably you're doing CTV, is the success metric same, or it'll be completely?
The success metric is, the similar thing. So when you are doing any campaign, you want to see two things. You want to see the impact on business. You want to see the impact on brand. And that's how you are kind of measuring it. There are a lot of brand lift studies happen. I haven't seen any brand lift study which says that there hasn't been any lift. But the true measure of the lift is lift in business. And, with CTV, there are multiple ways in which brand is actually, measuring the true impact on the business. As in, there are A/B tests that the brands are doing it. There are, test control scenarios that the brands are doing it. So, so that is being kept in mind, and the measure of success is the same, irrespective of what the touch point is.
Yeah, fair enough, makes sense. Thank you so much. I have a question for you. So, how should a brand like yours, as an advertiser, think about frequency on CTV when the same household might be streaming across multiple devices and platforms?
Yeah, that whole thing depends upon the purpose and objective what we are having in our mind, because we will plan accordingly. Like ma'am has told earlier, clearly, whether I need to go to the linear TV, whether I need to use a CTV, that entire thing depends upon my objective to reach out which audience and what should be the communication to whom I should be given. So clearly, once if I define on it, I'll have a mix of it and I will design on it. There is no standardized kind of principle which you have to put it across, to decide on your decision making on selecting the mix of the platforms. So it completely depends upon the objective. For example, sometime I used to do linear TV completely, and sometime I only go for the CTV with one of my product, with one of my communication customized and designed to reach to my targets. So in that way, we have to play. The marketer should have that kind of an idea and the skill to identify how the platforms to be utilized and the need to be communicated to your right target.
So you clearly have a very set idea of what kind of products you should advertise on CTV versus what?
Yes, for that we use the data support and we use the existing customer feedbacks. We completely go along with the data analytics, and there are tools available wherein you can figure out what will perform and what won't perform and where you need to play. Even we have got a data analytics according to the channels, according to the reach and all that things. So we plan according to that.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. No, so my question to you is that will CTV force us to define what we mean by prime time, or would that still be a concept that probably will exist for linear TV?
Okay, let me disrupt the whole thing.
Okay.
See, I don't remember it is, was it 2018 or 19? The IA convention happened in Cochin. So the whole narration then was digital taking over, and the whole point, what I was sitting in the audience, I was feeling is the entire gamut of things were like, kind of pushing the fact that it is going to be a digital future. Well, Corona did accelerate it, and then it is now a ground reality. Now, looking back, I see a similar scenario wherein the whole narration is going saying that CTV is going to be the future. But I personally feel, in this audience, SSEA predominantly, all of you are having smart televisions at home. Now, can any one of you rise and say who's watching CTV here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not even half.
No, I think people are not raising their hands.
Come on, please. On a jovial method, I was just, my South head Pradeep was there. So I just was telling Pradeep, let's just find out before this conversation is going, what is the perception of people between TV and CTV? It's just a pakka low-level joke, but still. I asked a couple of people in my own company, CTV is when TV is on, you're seeing TV. There was one guy who was very, very clear in telling this. So I was thinking, okay, this guy doesn't even know what CTV is. Okay, fine. That is from a person who is in the industry. Okay. So possibly, having said that, I'm not saying that CTV is not going to be the future or whatever it is. But as of now, it might take mighty good time to decide which is going to be the prime time as far as CTV is concerned. Because the penetration needs to go
increase.
As Umanath was rightly saying, we just have, say, 30 or 35% of penetration as far as CTV is concerned. Even though we are all users of smart TV, we still go back to the remote and to the cable or an OTT platform and consume the product. So CTV is still, I may be biased in telling you this, but then CTV still has long way to go.
Fair enough. So I think, we already, the time is up, and in fact, I had a lot more questions, but, we're short of time. So it's clearly, yeah.
Add one thing,
Sure.
that CTV still has a lot of traffic-related questions that needs to be addressed, because ill-reported traffics are a major concern for CTV. And
you're talking from a device perspective or
no, lack of measurement. Television, so though there are questions on the number of panels for BARC, which is around 50,000, but still they have a currency, solid currency in the name of TVR. But digital, it is still a walled garden where the numbers are being not disclosed to the brands. Brand owners, they rarely get to know. Only if they are advertising, they will get some kind of data.
No, I think that's not 100% correct. There's a lot of data that is there around. I'm sure Sujata must have done.
I think what we are used to is looking at TVRs and stuff.
Yes,
that
exactly.
Has become a currency. Now we have a digital as a medium which has come up with a new terminology, CPM and impressions and stuff, which I think BARC has also started
it.
Right? So they have, BARC also shares the impression. So, what digital does not have is top 10 programs, top performing stuff, but it does have impressions and stuff. And since it is being extensively used across the board by advertisers of, all shapes and sizes, I would believe that it is working for them. The thing is, the only thing is, unlike television where you get competition data, you get overall performance.
Which you do not get. You don't get here, yes.
How is your campaign doing? And that
true.
is one challenge which is obviously
because somewhere CTV is in the cusp of digital or television, right?
So we also don't have a unified metric.
Yes. So
measurement rate.
I'm sure which will evolve. So I think with that, one thing I'm very clear, the future of television is very secure. And CTV, yes, like Unni said, it's a long journey, but it's going to get there at some point. I'm sure we'll see a lot more brands like Pushpit's tea. Yes.
My only suggestion is, while pitching the client, both the teams have to come and pitch.
Both the TVs have to come and pitch?
Both the teams. That is the
channel teams have to come and pitch.
And the digital team.
Okay.
Together, if they come and pitch, client understanding will be. Because digital team always complains about TV. TV's performance. and they confuse
He's
the
talking
branded.
He is talking blatant
Yes,
truth.
totally.
Okay.
No.
So if it's the same organization, suppose for example, it's a bigger agency who have both digital and TV team, they both have to pitch together, give a proper solution. Digital may not be, it is a new medium. It takes its own time to settle down. Okay. So you should have a proposal, or the team should explain to the management or the brand managers there, 80% or 30% should be digital, 70% should be TV. Some kind of a combo. It should be a combo.
The way you're saying, I think it's a very ideal scenario, and I would love, I've been salesperson for a very long time, but unfortunately TV and the discussion around both the things is very different, because TV generally is taken, people think awareness. The moment it comes to digital, it's all about performance. So the journey becomes very different, but yes, completely feedback taken that.
TV is a mass medium, no doubt. It doesn't address
you think digital is not becoming a mass medium?
It doesn't address the right TG. It is throw in the air, TV. But digital, you have that option.
You have the option, yes.
You can hit whom you want to hit, out to that TG. So it should be a collaborative effort.
Collaboration, absolutely. I totally agree.
Any innovations is always welcomed properly if it been explained by the media people to the clients. That is my only
Thank you
suggestion.
so much. I think for all the salespeople, ad salespeople, if there are any, you should take this feedback, both offline and online teams. And thank you so much. I think it was a wonderful session. And again, the future of television is very, very bright.
Wow, wonderful to hear. There, a big round of applause for this fabulous moderator who brought out amazing conversations right here. New definition for CTV, we saw that. Yes, on that note, may I please invite Mr. Nikhil from Prudent Media to felicitate our fabulous panelists and moderator onto the stage. I also invite Althea from Truecaller and Pawan from Mutual PR to please join us. This is the penultimate session, ladies and gentlemen. And the excitement, the energy. Yes, the final session, decoding the content ecosystem. That is going to be our last session for the day. There's so much discussion about content strategy. The concept of content ecosystem is definitely pivotal. And this session, the last session, is all about unraveling the complexities and exploring the depths of the content ecosystem. And we've always had the best of the best joining us. So I'm going to take this opportunity to invite Mr. Hari Prasad, co-founder of ArtCube AI, to join us, along with Pankaj Belwarrior, Director of Communications University, Andhra Pradesh, Narayanan, Chief Executive Officer, Alliance Advertising and Marketing, Prachi Narayan, Managing Partner and Head of Content, Havas Play, from Havas Media Network, to please join us on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, with a big round of applause. And this is going to be moderated by Balaji V, Director Marketing, Repose Mattress Private Limited. The last session, and I'm sure it's going to be a blockbuster one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Balaji from Repose Mattress. We are in the business of sleep, so I hope, being the last session, we don't put you to sleep. So, welcome to this panel on decoding the content ecosystem. We are living in a time where content is being shaped by creators, platforms, audiences, and even algorithms, making it more dynamic and fragmented than ever before. Today, our panel will explore how content is created, discovered, monetized, and trusted in this fast-changing world. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this session. Pankaj, I'll start off with you. With so many formats, short form, long form, podcasts, OTT, social, what's shaping the content priorities of media companies right now?
Yeah, very good question, Balaji. You know, if you look at the overall ecosystem of content consumption worldwide, the content consumption in the current era has grown many-fold, essentially because of the multiple platforms available to consume the content. Every platform provides opportunity for relevant audience they cater to, and also the relevant form of the content, which is either short form or long form. All right? In the mobile first syndrome, where you get up in the morning and the first thing that you pick up in terms of media, which is mobile, and the shrinking attention span, the short form content is taking over. And the mobile as a platform gives you the opportunity to browse through the short form content. So therefore, in this current era, which is called mobile first era, the short form content becomes very relevant for that era. And the short form content gives you brand awareness and gives you very high level of engagement. All right. However, it doesn't mean that the other form of content, which is long form content, is not relevant. The challenge of the short form content is it only gives you very high level of brand awareness and maybe higher engagement, but it doesn't give you the in-depth information about the product or services or any of the content that you're wanting to talk about. For any in-depth information, long form content is important. Anybody who wants to know more about what you're talking about, the long form content is relevant. Short form content is very popular among the younger generation. We call Gen Z or even Gen Alpha. They are the ones who consume higher in the short form content. But professionals or Gen X people, they want to know more detailed information about what you're talking about. So they get into long form content. Long form content like podcast, YouTube videos, articles, newspaper articles, media articles, that is where long form content goes. The advantage of the long form content is that you get to know detailed information about products, services, information, in my case, about the SRM University that we normally talk in the long form content. And long form content helps you building brand trust, brand credibility, and also the overall brand strength. So the ideal scenario today for a strategic approach for agency or a content creator is to have the combination of short form, which will give you immediate traction, immediate engagement, and maybe higher brand awareness, and a combination of a long form content, which will give you in-depth information about that product, which will give you brand visibility, brand equity, and brand strength. And combination of these two will give the message in totality and create a good brand awareness and, brand mileage for this. So the both content format, short form and long form, is relevant in today's world. And a strategic approach would be to use the combination of both in the right platform to the right target audience. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Narayanan, this question is to you. In a world where anyone can be a creator, how do professionals differentiate themselves?
Good evening, all of you. We are in the land of Tamil Nadu, so I think to answer the question, I will actually have a Rajnikant dialogue which says, "Yen vai, tani vai." It means it's like I have a differentiated way, and that really stands out. I think to answer your question, professional really stands out. And the reason why they do it is because they have of the trust they create with their viewers. That's very important. As Arnab highlighted in the earlier session, it's all about authenticity. I think that's more important. Above all, it's like expertise and subject matter. I think that clearly differentiates them. Yeah, we know that many of the new creators, like now anyone can be a creator, as you rightly pointed. Content is accessible, and everyone is more free to create any content they want. And many of them actually, they just ride on some fleeting trends, and there are some high production value which catch quick virality, and then it becomes a trending thing. But that's not sustainable. I mean, you need to really kind of build content and be consistent for a longer period. Now, One, I think I'll give you 3 examples of this. One is a go-to person, like, I mean, and I think there's one content creator I follow, Ankur Variku, and he has a lot of digital expertise in building digital brands. Now, the way he gives his insights, which is insights on clearly is on finance, it's on productivity, it's on entrepreneurship. And though the content is very entertaining, but the insights are really remarkable. And it connects a kind of emotional resonance with the viewer. And it's not just about successes, it's also about the failures and giving real life examples which really stand out. So professional that way really stands out, which really transitions, I mean, in this case, he has transitioned himself as an educator and a true life coach. And transition has happened from being just a kind of information giver to a perfectionist. Like I would say, performer to a perfectionist. I think that's my first example. The second example, I think, is also specific to Tamil Nadu. Let's take a Tamil Nadu example only since we are in that state. I think there's a YouTuber who started as a YouTuber. I think his name is Madan Gauri. So he has this remarkable ability of breaking down complex topics like current affairs, science, history, into in a simple layman's term. Now that has really caught attention. I mean, I was surprised to see his million viewers. It's almost 8.6 million subscribers, of not even views. It's subscribers to his channel, and that because it really brings in this kind of subject matter, which is all about news and information, and it's blended with cultural relevance. I think that makes it really like specific to Tamil Nadu. And he's also gone in many cases, gone hyperlocal in terms of content, which really has given him that kind of advantage. And he has transitioned, though he started as a mere YouTuber, but I think now he's positioned himself as a credible media person. I think that's a transition which happened, and that's come to consistency. It's not to a one-off example. So that establishing that trust and that credibility is very, very important. And that really differentiates the professional from an amateur. I think that's how I would answer your question.
Thank you. That was interesting. Hariprasad, you made a very awesome presentation about your company, artcube.ai. Now, in the context of that, I'd like to ask you a question. What impact will AI-generated content have on creators, publishers, and audience?
Okay, so starting with the creators, right? Very initially, I think creators will be very, very happy because, they have tools at their disposal, which really get the best out of what their mind is kind of thinking about from a creative sense perspective. But I think what would happen as tools also evolve, the creators also need to, upskill themselves. So a lot of creators who are probably just on the periphery, trying to, get into the industry would find it very tough to cope up and create very quality content. So that could be a dilemma for a lot of people trying to enter in the era of, AI-powered content. So that said, also differentiation of content can become very, very, tricky. So for example, let's say in this room, you want to, have a dragon appear and, kind of scroll through from left to right. So you use some sort of, multimodal text prompting in one of these AI tools, right? So that would be the typical practice that most of the creators would kind of end up doing. So that prompting is the same whether you do it or I do it or someone from the audience does it. The prompt, the dragon, the type of dragon, all of it will be pretty much similar. And probably, there's no differentiation between what one could create versus the other. So to create very professional grade content will be extremely, extremely tricky because it's just a combination of not just, some sort of prompting, but it requires very advanced techniques. So similar to what our sort of companies or very specialized companies end up doing. So the way we would, just to summarize on the creative part, creators will find it very easy to start off with, but to create professional grade content, you need to, really work hard and or upskill to, kind of get there, point one. Second, from a monetization perspective, because user-generated content has always been monetized, right? So what normal creators could, kind of end up doing is that their income levels can drop because what you kind of generate will be pretty much similar to, there's not great differentiation until there's a lot of time, effort, and upskill that's kind of, put in, and also investment in sort of tools and techniques, right? I think that is one part of the creator thing. Now coming to the publishers. So publisher has another dilemma, right? Because there's so much of content getting created, plethora of content getting created. I think for a UGC platform like YouTube, it doesn't make any difference, right? Because already, the volume of content that's kind of getting uploaded on a daily basis is very, very high. So they will continue to, and audience of those particular platforms will continue to consume content based on the quality and or desire, liking, affinity towards the class of product, class of content and the like, right? But that said, at some level, because it could be overwhelming, because right now you'll have to script and shoot or at least put in some effort. So the creators are putting in some effort to create it, but with the proliferation of AI tools, what would happen is the amount of content would get multifold, right? It's probably going to be 100,000 times X of what it's kind of getting created now. So content platforms also will, my sense is, kind of arrive at some mechanism by which they want to moderate it, because not every content is treated equally and not everything can be monetized in the same length and breadth. So I think there'll be some amount of, techniques that will be used by some of these well-established platforms to kind of regulate from a user-generated content perspective. But the likes of premium content platforms, be it the likes of Netflix, Prime, and so on and so forth, I think they will invest more in the right tools, techniques, and teams to kind of develop very premium, high-quality content which could, make an emotional and, narrative storytelling to their audience. So from an audience perspective, I think things are only going to get better, because audience, regardless of whether it is human created or AI created, always want the best. So they won't end up creating, just because, there's a lot of content out there, it's not that the audience would say, hey, I will gobble up everything. They still have their, I think the quality bar will start increasing, and audience would, kind of basically, as the progress of this whole, kind of industry, kind of grows to the next stage, I think audience become more choosy and choosy. So that will probably have a flywheel effect, right? So audience only consume very, very high quality or content which they think they like, for whatever reason that could be, right? And so that creates a flywheel wherein, certain class of content is consumed by certain TG. And so the creators of those content again kind of go back to their drawing rooms and become more, active and, kind of put in more efforts to kind of generate quality content. So that way, I think the entire ecosystem, each stakeholder or each categorization has different attributes, and it kind of gets treated accordingly. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Prachi, this question is to you. With technology and AI to real-time analytics becoming part of the creative process, how do you ensure that human intuition and emotional depth remain central to this one? See, brands are all about emotions and all that, right? That's the way brands have been built. But how does this work in this case?
An extremely pertinent question right now, because most of us here, I'm sure, are using ChatGPT to even draft our WhatsApp messages these days. While the convenience is there, when we craft stories, how do you keep it close to what humans really are, right? I feel technology is essentially a GPS, but not the driver. I think, technology, it could be AI, it could be automation, it could be analytics, all of that could help you, chart out your route. It could help you optimize your journey. It could help you even, update you about the roadblocks that are upcoming. But it is eventually the human storyteller that is going to decide where to go and why. So I think that is something that we need to keep in mind, because the essence of content is essentially instinct, right? That's how we're humans, we live by our instinct. So I think that should not die. Also think about, just how we are. It's very human to, sort of take a pause in a conversation, and how that can change the course of that that what you mean to say. It's that unspoken loop. It's that cultural nuance. None of it can be computed through an algorithm. So even at Havas Play, for that matter, while we use technology to think faster, to work faster, to listen better, but we very, very strongly protect that space where we can take creative gut calls. I think that is where magic happens. A lot of times what happens is, data may say zig, but your heart is saying zag. I always go by zag because I think that's where the memorable campaigns happen.
True, even movies which have used great technologies, but with no storyline have not succeeded. So that I think will remain always truth. Narayan, this is addressed to you. Can subscription and ads supported models coexist, or will one dominate?
Very, very relevant question, given that it's in this modern digital economy. Now, one would predict that the winner takes it all, but actually that's not true. It's clearly a coexistence model and moving more towards a hybrid model. Okay, let me give you some example. Like all of us are preview and I think we all use Spotify. Now, Spotify is a great model. Like they have a completely free model where any consumer can listen to the music they want, and it's supported by limited ads. But at the same time, they also have a premium subscription model where there are no ads, and that gives a completely the user, they give a user a great experience of listening, plus the sound quality is also better. So they have a premium tab. Now in this case, though there are two different models, but both don't compete against each other. In fact, they complement each other. I would say there's a greater synergy there with this model. And eventually, every model, like every platform, is going to be, whether it's even if you take JioStar and even if you take many others. I'll give one more example. I think New York Times, I think that's a great example of where they pivoted this completely subscription-led model. They felt that their information which they are giving are so valuable and so insightful that their readers would pay a premium to it. So I think it's a completely subscription model, and I think many of the international or global newsmakers are moving to that, news publishers are moving to that model, which clearly, though they have a trial version so that people can sample them, but eventually it's only for a few days where where their subscription hits a payment paywall, and they have to do a payment anyway. So I think it's moving to that model. I'll give you one more. I mean, these are two different platforms. I mean, so Spotify is a great one, and then this New York Times. But if you take a common, like if you take a YouTube, let's say I was surprised to see a YouTube. All of us knew there is a very popular gamer, I think, called Carrie Minati. I mean, we might not know, our children might know, and very popular among teens and youth, and I think you will be surprised to see the subscriber count of almost 45 million. And each videos deliver around 75 to 80 million views. Okay, now the model is the creator or the subscriber or the content creator clearly strives on the business he gets, on the revenues from his free advertising. He gets that anyway, and that's great because Google or YouTube monetizes for his content, and it's largely YouTube content, and he gets his revenue stream, fixed revenue stream from that. But at the same time, what he has done is, in YouTube itself, he has created this kind of subscription model, which is similar to a membership perk or something, where his kind of loyal fans can interact with him. They can ask him questions. The questions are given live. At the same time, he also gives them some kind of freebie. I mean, not freebies. I would say this. I think emojis, something. He gives something like a customized emojis and this which they can display in their social media or something. So it is also a model where it's a free subscription, but at the same time to kind of interact with and keep his fans loyal. There's a kind of a very personalized or interactive experiences which he shares. So it's a kind of hybrid model. So I would say, to answer this question, like it is not, one doesn't compete against this. It's not a battle of dominance, but it's actually a kind of a strategic integration where both integrate and both kind of it's a kind of a symbiotic relationship they follow. So I think that's my answer to the question. And I would say anyway, as Prachi also mentioned, it's all about content. So I would say, I think of a dialogue in, I think, Three Idiots movie, which says, like, excellence के पीछे भागो, success खुद में खुद दौड़ती आएगी. So it means like create that content, give that kind of uniqueness, and create that kind of so specialized and exclusive content that the viewers are attached to you, and you will get your success from that. Don't bother about getting acquisitions or viewers through that. I think that's how I would answer your question.
Prachi, this is more a very foresight kind of question. As audience attention span is decreasing by the day, and the content consumption, like umpteen options are available, what formats or approaches do you see dominating the branded content space in the next 3 to 5 years?
So there's a lot of focus on formats. Honestly, I see us heading towards a duality. We cannot do away with either micro or immersive. I think I see them joining hands to create something meaningful. I think that's the way it should be ideally. When it comes to micro formats, shorter formats, let's say there are snackable reels, a lot of interactive formats. That's essentially to catch eyeballs. And at the other end, you've got the long formats, the immersive formats, AR, VR experiences, there's live experiences, and then there are these longer branded documentaries. Essentially, those lead to long-term impact when they sort of bring the audience in, but they keep the audience in for longer. I think, we need to think of a sweet spot where both of them work well for what they actually do well. I also feel that as marketers, we are the ones who are bothered about formats. I think we need to think idea first. We need to think the story first, the ecosystem first. Formats can change, If you've got a great idea, you can take it today, using the kind of dynamic media that we have today. You can turn it into an Instagram reel. It can expand from there into a live event. It can go into an OTT show also. Important is to have that idea first. And I think all of us here in this room are thinking format first, but I don't think the audience, when they watch a piece of content, I don't think they're seeing it as a format. I think they're just seeing it as a piece that engages them. They want to be engaged. They want something which is authentic. They want great storytelling. They want basically a world where they can find a perfect moment where they also fit in. I think that's what we all need to focus on, and success is after that.
Okay. Hariprasad, a very similar kind of thing, but the slightly different angle. With attention span becoming lesser by the day, how do you retain stickiness?
Yeah, cool. So I think let's probably look at why, attention span is probably going down, right? So probably I think, humans are designed to, kind of do a certain set of activities in the day for a certain hours of time, right? So for example, typically 9 to 10 hours of work, some personal time, some family time, and some entertainment time, right? So what has happened with plethora of content coming in with, with or without AI is essentially that the time for activity remains the same for every human or the society, but the options to consume content across varied distribution channels have kind of risen very fast and to very high degrees of volume. So people do not have, so say as a kid, I would probably, watch, I had no much choice, right? So I would probably watch a Doordarshan or whatever, 1 or 2 series or 1 movie a week or something like that, because that is what was available to me at that point. But now I think because of the varied developments all across, right? So you have a lot of options, and people have to sample it. It's just like you going for a buffet food in maybe a Meridian here, right? So when you have just a la carte, you have 3-4 items that you like, but when you have a full spread, you gotta, quickly sample and get to a point where you want to kind of, get to what you really like or what you want to try at the end of the day. So content is no different, is what I believe, and that has probably, the philosophy that I just said has probably given rise to why short form of content is kind of getting popular. One is time constraints, probably also to sample out various things, because you don't know what new thing is out there and what you might like, other than very known genres which you already appreciate and probably consume at a regular interval. So that being the case, now advertising and monetization also needs to, kind of rehash and rethink how you address this sort of a phenomenon, right? So what worked in the past may or may not work now. So obviously one thing is very, very sure in short form content, given that it's only 120 seconds or max, 180 or 240 seconds sort of formats, you don't have interruption ads and those sort of things that work, typically which are known to work in other formats. So probably one such thing that could work is, in content advertising, very, very emotionally connecting both with the storyline and to the context specifically could work. But apart from that, I think broad framework would be that everyone in the ecosystem need to probably iterate faster, develop end-to-end systems and processes wherein they test out, basically test, iterate and learn fast and see what really sticks. So I think that would be the holy grail of how you make it successful in this short form content.
This is to any one of you. Any examples of marketing innovations in branded content recently? You can share it.
I've got a few if I start. I think last year we did something innovative, which has won some awards also this year. It's continuing to show up very well in the award circuit right now. It's a campaign that we did for Swiggy. It's called Swiggy Bhog Elo Bone, which in Bengali means Bhog came to the forest. And the idea was, Swiggy basically wanted to build its position in the West Bengal market. And what better time to do something nice and inclusive at the time of Durga Puja, which is, their biggest festival. So we created a floating pandal and took it around the islands of Sundarbans, because the natives of Sundarbans actually never get to participate in the festival because there is no pandal there in that region. So I think, it was an extremely heart-touching campaign for all of us, even while designing it, and the kind of interactions that we had with the, the natives there and the 3,000 tiger widows who have never been a part of that festival was, something that I'll cherish forever. And that has shown up in the kind of responses that we've got on digital and social media on the campaign also.
Great. So we already heard the bell. So thank you all for this very interesting and insightful session. And I would also like to thank each one of the audience who are sitting here at 6 o'clock. And before I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Shankar and his team for putting a great effort in bringing all of you people together and making this media summit a grand success. So thank you all.
And our panelists, and to do the honors, I invite Mr. Babu and Mr. Bala from 4 Dimension Media Solutions to please join us on stage and do the honors.